Hey guys! Okay, so today I'm going to be giving you the 5 secrets about why women are attracted to older men. And most guys I coach have no clue about any of this stuff. So, not long after I actually graduated high school, 2 of my friends started dating guys in their 40s. So this is around, the age of 20, just to give you an idea. And when I started modeling, I found this to be a pretty consistent pattern with many of the more intelligent, emotionally mature girls that I worked with. Okay, so these are the 5 reasons why. Number 1 is direction and purpose. Here we go, direction and purpose. So, before I get into this, this is super, super important, but why should you believe me? Well, for anyone new here, I'm Tess, and I'm the head female coach at Social Coach. What we do is, since 2006, we've sent our team of model female coaches on dates with our clients, first on Zoom, then in real life, and we give them brutally honest feedback from the female perspective on what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and exactly what you need to do step by step to improve your success with women dramatically and immediately. So we'll share a little bit of proof about that a little bit later on. But let's go back to number 1, direction and purpose. So for me, why this is so important to women is, especially younger guys, this is what they lack. They lack direction and purpose, which really sucks. They don't know who they are, they don't know what they want, and what that often leads to is, hey James,
Hey Tess.
they're out partying all the time, they're drinking, taking drugs or whatever, gambling all their money on the pokies. And yeah, they're basically, it's just, that is not attractive to women at any age, really. So, unless she's like a party girl and that's kind of a phase that she's in, most women, we mature a lot quicker, and we're not into that. So when men actually, they have direction, they have purpose, they have passions, they know what they want in life, they have direction. Usually what it means is it's a much better balanced individual, but it also comes across as a higher level of masculinity. So that is absolutely one of the biggest things that women are attracted to, in terms of being able to take the leadership role. That's a big one. And what else in terms of masculinity? Just also, the way you carry yourself. Guys who have direction and purpose, they usually have, they have goals, they have plans, and they have stepping stones towards getting there. So women like that organization and that drive. That's really attractive to women. What else? And another big part of that is that it means that you're not putting us on a pedestal, because we're not like the only thing that's going on in your life. We've got, you might be focused on, your passions, your career, whatever else is going on in your life. So it means that you're not always going to just drop everything to be at our beck and call at any minute. You respect and value us, but you don't put us on a pedestal and treat us like we're the best thing in your life. Where oftentimes women like that to an extent, but they actually end up losing respect for you if that's the way it is, and they often down the track end up taking advantage of that dynamic as well. So so James, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, sure. Tonight, these are all Tess's points. She's sort of come up with her top 5. So I'll just add a bit to what Tess has already said. That's really good. There's some other things. If a girl does start to fall for a guy and get serious about him, young guys, they're so like they change their mind every minute. It's like I had a finance career which would have made me very, very, very wealthy, but I ran into troubles with the bank and had a fight with the bank, and I decided to quit it and just go traveling for a while. And the girl I was seeing at that time, definitely wasn't the girl I was going to marry, she got really, really hurt. And I strongly remember me coming back to see her after a period of time in travel and trying to sleep with her, which she wasn't having a bar of. And I said, "Oh, can I come in?" Because I was trying to get back into her pants. And then as soon as I came in the house, her dog just lost it, just completely had the biggest fit of its life, because the dog loved me a lot more than her. I think she just got the dog to get girls. But yeah, she ended up going through a lot of pain simply because I was 31 at that stage. I had more than enough money I needed. I decided I didn't want to go back in the corporate world. Whereas I don't know if I'd have made that, I might have made that decision at 40, given the money you paid in finance. But yeah, I think a slightly more mature guy wouldn't start doing that. And you're often hearing, young guys, young desirable guys have got a decent job, they get this girl, and then they just decide, oh, I'm going to become a DJ, or I'm going to become a painter, I'm going to become a poet, I'm going to go travel. So yeah, it's a lot easier. Guys, certainly 40s, even late 30s, but 40s, 50s, provided you've looked after yourself a bit health-wise, we're a much, much better bet for what, I don't know how Tess worded it, enlightened, intelligent, younger woman. I don't know if we'll touch on the sort of heavy drinking and stuff. I can't remember Tess's exact points. We'll get into maybe touch on that now. I don't know if you've had an experience with a guy you really like, Tess, but he's out with his friends every weekend. He's maybe doing hard drugs. I think Tess covered she's driving 150 miles an hour on his motorbike or something on one wheel. Yeah, this sort of stuff can be really exciting for women, but it's not necessarily what they want from a boyfriend. So yeah, I mean, some of the feedback I get when I date women a lot younger than me, it's like, oh, when I date a guy who's like 25, it's like we're out to bars and clubs, and it's just so much of it revolves around drinking or drugs or something. Well, I mean, in many cases, when I was in my 20s, everything revolved around cricket or basketball or football. Whereas with an older guy, it's like, oh, well, we have weekends away and we go out to dinner parties. We don't just go out and get pissed out of our fucking minds, as we say in Australia. And yeah, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff we might cover later. The reason we do this, you've got a catwalk model who's, I'd say, one of the world's very best female dating coaches for men, if not the best. I'm slightly biased. She's also a catwalk model with 2 degrees and an incredibly talented dating coach. Just ask any of our clients. So yeah, it's a chance for you to pepper her with questions and pepper me, because I've never really dated anyone even remotely age appropriate to me. I'm nowhere near. That would be kind of weird for me. So yeah, pepper us with questions. We might move on to number 2. Tess, what's your number 2?
Yeah. So guys, hi Jeff. Nice to see you here. Yeah, any questions you have about these points that we're putting up, or any questions in general as well, we're here to help you. Pop them in the chat and we'll be referring to those. Yeah, I think it's funny you're saying that, James, because this is one that I didn't actually recognize until I was a little bit older, because I was just dating younger guys when I was younger, and there was always this like huge frustration around like, oh my God, like I'm in a serious relationship with you and this is still what you're doing. And even at a really young age, I'm talking, like, late teenage years, early 20s, I was like, well, I don't want to be doing that stuff anymore. And it was only later down the track when I started dating guys who, had their own businesses and, and loved to travel and were passionate about things other than just, partying, or being fuckboys or whatever. That I was like, wow, okay, this is what has been missing in the relationships I've had. So, this is huge. Let's have a look. Okay, Luke's saying best thing I ever did was giving up drinking. Awesome, Luke. That's really cool. Let's go to our second point. So confidence. Confidence is key, and we talk about this a lot. Older guys, you generally have a lot more confidence in general. So that is a huge strength for you guys. A lot of guys, it kind of ties in with the lack of direction and purpose. When you don't have that as a man, it's a huge problem. I think that's why a lot of young men, I think like suicide rates are increasing at the moment for young guys, because it's really hard in today's day and age to to know where you fit in our society as a man, as a young man. And yeah, so, you know, lacking that direction and purpose, but also not having confidence in yourself, having low self-esteem. And this is generally something that, you know, as you get to know yourself, more, as you grow older, you gain confidence and self-esteem. Now, yeah, we've talked about this a lot. Confidence is one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing, that women are attracted to. So yeah, confidence. What does that look like? I mean, it basically carries through in everything you do. It's your nonverbal communication, your body language. And it comes down to the fact that you've potentially had, your successful careers, you've had relationship experience, you can back yourself, you know what your values are, you know what your ethics are, you know what you believe in. And as I said, that carries through in everything you do. James?
Great. A big part of today is to essentially sell you guys. Most of our clients are sort of 40s, 50s, quite a few 60s now. We still do some late 30s, but it's really 40s, 50s, is to actually sell you guys on why you're like this amazing. I'm not saying all of you because I haven't coached you, but so many of our clients, they think, oh, why would a 31-year-old or a 27-year-old want me? I'm like, and then my female coaches are just throwing themselves at him. The last boot camp, there was, admittedly, he was quite a handsome guy, but how old was Rob? He's 50 or 51?
Not too sure. Yeah, it's probably around that, yeah.
Anyway, the point of the story is there's a whole bunch of women who are 31 or 27 or something. I called them seagulls. I used to film my model female coaches just completely launching themselves at this guy, just making a complete and utter effing nuisance of themselves. It was actually a bit embarrassing for some of the clients. There's a whole bunch of models when we're not coaching him just gathered around this guy. And he was 20 years older than most of them, or a lot of them, or 15 to 20 to 25 years older than most of them. But they were like Leonardo DiCaprio walked in the room. Now, I'm not saying every guy is as attractive as this guy, but the point is guys think, oh, I'm beyond a certain age, I'm worthless. And there was another guy who was, 6'3", super athletic, ex-football player, rugby player. He sounded like he was a wonderful father. And he's got like no confidence with younger women, and they're like, oh, this guy's hot. It's such a mind-breaking thing to understand that women 20 years older than you are horrendously attracted to you, often much more than most of the guys their age. You do get some young guys who are quite confident. Tess covered that quite well, but confidence is everything. It's like, what do most guys want in a woman? She's got to be beautiful. She's got to have a nice body and a pretty face. So what do women want in men? He's got to be confident. And I go on about Darwin over and over. We want beauty because that signals fertility and the desirability of any offspring we have. So we're obsessed with beauty. And women want confidence because they want a guy who can protect their offspring when the shit hits the fan. And even more importantly, what's the number one thing women want from men, according to the post-Darwinians, if you call them that, neo-Darwinians? They want men who show that they can rapidly rise up status hierarchies. Not guys who have a bunch of money, guys who prove they can rapidly rise up them. That's the number one thing they want. I use examples of me because hopefully it's helpful to you guys. Like in my 20s and early 30s, I was like, super duper alpha male in terms of career, in terms of money, particularly growing up very poor. I was being conceited. I was really good at sport, given the amount of time I put into it. And mate, was I fucking good at drinking those beers, mate? Put a carton of Crown Lager on the table, put a 6-pack on the top. Whatever, take me 12 or 15 hours, but I'd get through it and I wouldn't vomit because, only girls chuck up. So I had sort of 3 talents in life: career, finance, sport, and beer drinking. Career and finance you could probably put together. But other than that, I was a wreck of a person. And you'll find most of the sort of achiever 20-something guys you're competing against are just wrecks of people. I might come to this later. Tess, any more points about confidence?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Most of you guys, a lot of the guys we coach, they have confidence when it comes to their lives in general, their careers, their what they believe in, sports, whatever it is. You're confident people, but then when it comes to approaching a beautiful woman, that goes out the window. So that's this is basically what we do. We just teach you how to use the strengths that you have, and make it workable around actually being attractive to women. So yeah, that's oftentimes it's not too difficult to actually get there. We're just kind of connecting the dots, but you've got a lot of the foundation that we need, it's just about learning a few sort of practical skills to get you there. Let's have a look here. We've got a couple of people. Let's have a look here. We've got a couple of questions coming through. Bungalow Logic says, welcome, says, hi, I'm 53, in good shape, looking to date for marriage and kids, so fertile age is big. How should I broach that subject? Can you give us a little bit more specificity around that question? Like, how do you broach that subject with women, or like what, or do you just mean like how do you approach this? And that's a pretty broad question. James, do you have anything to comment on that? Or
firstly, that's an excellent question. I definitely answer this guy's question because it's a ripper, as we say in Australia. But I'd like you to share a bit of your experience of maybe dating some sort of, because obviously Tess was a model, obviously dating some, what I presume, pretty hot, pretty desirable younger guys, and how that was for you as a woman. I think that'd be huge value for the guys. Because if you understand, I understand a lot of the other dating coaches and the fact that a lot of them are marketers and PUAs, and they're more interested in quantity of women rather than quality. So it's very easy for me to convince, if you're this sort of guy, we're definitely the coach for you. So, but equally, when you understand, you've got this perception that a super hot 25-year-old wants to date a 31-year-old or something. But when you actually understand what it's like for them, it can really shock you. It can really shock you how good as older guys who, aren't getting huge and fat and just sitting on the couch watching Netflix and new porn and wasting their life away. If that's not you, you've got absolutely no idea how desirable you could well be to really beautiful younger women. It's shocked me to the core. I keep going, I'm 54 now. There's all this gray here. I'm not exactly in great shape, so I spent a bunch of this year in a wheelchair. But it doesn't matter. 22s are like, yeah, well, he's really sure of himself. I want him. So, yeah, this is a sales pitch for how desirable you are as an older man, provided you tick a few boxes we talk about, which is like you're healthy, you're sort of quite secure in yourself. You're not the sort of the white teeth and the red sports car and, the fresh steroid muscles and the Versace. You're not trying to overtly go out and chase younger women. So, yeah, let's get back to that excellent question. And then now, before we do the question, why don't we get you to share your experience of being a super hot young girl who's dating more age appropriate guys? And I mean, you're not a party girl like maybe some of my other female coaches, but I think you'd have enough perspective to really help the guys a lot. Sorry?
I used to party a bit.
Some of them are clubs and bars quite often. So, but
no, not so much anymore. But the thing is, when you're with a guy the same age, or it's just going out to venues. People don't take you as seriously. It's a status thing, I guess, and it just comes down to the way you carry yourselves. Like checking into a hotel and you're like, oh well, I had this special request, and they just say, I don't know, this is just a stupid example, but they just don't take you seriously because you're young and you don't carry yourself with confidence, and they just don't take you seriously. So So for a woman, you know, when you do have that status and in day-to-day life, and I'm talking about just little things like that, you know, going to a restaurant, going to going to a hotel, going to just traveling, just doing anything. People treat you differently, and when you have that higher status in society, that equates to, you know, more of like alpha male type qualities, which is something that women are just generally attracted to. Same with that plays in with confidence as well. It's part of that alpha male type stuff, which is it's kind of hardwired into us to be attracted to that. You know, we want the man who's going to be able to fend for us if we get attacked by lions or you know, or something like that. So that's why women are attracted to these sorts of things.
I mean, this is one of the reasons why I think if you want to address your dating needs, you need a balance of male and female. It's not like most female coaches who I follow. Some of them have okay style tips. Most of them have a very limited idea. And most of the guys where it's like, oh, you know, if you want to learn to fish, you don't go ask the fish, you ask the fisherman. I'm like, yeah, but you might ask the fish what sort of bait works best. So yeah, you need a balance, because Tess has just touched upon something extraordinary. Why do most of you guys, why did you show up today? You want younger women. Why? Like the guy who asked the excellent question, Bungalow Logic, you may want to have a family, more than one. And you might want to not go through a whole bunch of medical problems. You might want a young, firm body so that you're not needing to use any of those blue pills. That's possibly true. You might want someone who's a bit more easygoing and sweet. But one of the biggest reasons, if guys are honest with themselves, is they want the status. So now we have a former catwalk model who's telling us there's this huge status to dating an older guy, which in 19 years of coaching, I'd never really seen it that way. So yeah, but it's like, yeah, I get what I want in pretty much every situation. And the women I'm with are like, wow, how does this guy do this? And when you're 22, when you're 29, you don't do that. I mean, some older guys are still very sort of wussy and unsure of themselves. But yeah, that's an incredible point. For a really attractive young girl, there's a huge amount of status attached to dating older guys. A girl I dated, one of the great women in my life, she wasn't secure enough in herself for me to sort of date her long term, let alone have kids with her. But she ticked every box, like over 6 foot, one of the biggest modeling agencies in the world, flying around, extremely well read, parents PhDs. We were talking and she's like, I've never dated a guy under 30 in my entire life. Why would I do that? What could he possibly offer me? What would I get out of it? And most of her boyfriends were over 40. And the guy who stole her heart before me, he was 41 when she was 19. So yeah, there's a lot of I can't remember Tess's words exactly, enlightened, intelligent, more emotionally balanced young women. They want guys 20 years older than them. When they're 22, I think that's what Tess said at the start. All her friends, you know, Tess went to a selective school, so apart from being beautiful, she's well above average intelligence, I'd imagine, just on that metric alone. It's been my experience of her. She even does tech problem solving for this old useless, I was going to say the C word on YouTube. That might have not gone down well. Anyway, big nose dude. So yeah, status of dating older men. Thank you so much, Tess. That guy asked a fantastic question, so let's jump in there.
So hi, Bungalow says, hi, I'm 53 in good shape, looking to date for marriage and kids. So fertility age is big. How do I broach that subject? And he's just followed on. There's a follow on from that saying, obviously not bringing it up on the date, but how do I convey that that's my intention? That's what you're looking for. So how do you actually communicate that to women in dating? Is that that seems like that's the question. The thing is, if you're pursuing women who are younger than you, it like I think that's obvious that you're that's what you're looking for. You know, I guess if you bring up that you want to have kids and that's important to you, I think that's just a conversation that, in dating is quite important to have anyway at some stage. Now you might find that if you're dating women in their later 20s, that's something the woman might bring up really quickly anyway, because that's on her mind. So
about 25 seconds.
She'll just bring it up. But earlier 20s, maybe not as much. But yeah, again, you might not bring it up on the first day, but yeah, I think women are quite receptive to this sort of thing. So you shouldn't be too worried about bringing up the fact that you're interested in marriage and kids. Women, most women, I think, like the idea of marriage and kids. So I don't think that should be too much of an issue. Yeah. In fact, it's a good thing. Women generally like the idea that you're looking for something a bit more committed.
You might just tell us what your age range is, because then I can give you some more specific advice around that. Tess is right about everything. The one thing I would suggest you approach carefully, particularly if you are dating with quite younger women, I wouldn't lead with that. And pretty much everything to do with sex, it's the man's job to lead that. Otherwise, the woman feel slutty. Pretty much everything to do with advancing the relationship forward, it's the woman's job to lead that. And whenever a man gets involved in that, he feels a bit needy and desperate. One of my closest friends from a few years ago, he's got a girl, he really likes her, and he's the one who's sort of pushing this subject, or he was the one who was pushing this subject. And it's like, what are you doing? It's like the ultimate beta male move of all time. It's like the woman's job is to do this. You don't need to wait. If you've been dating her for months and nothing's come up, I don't know, you can just find some very gentle way to, cute kid, or just bring it up somehow, some way. It's going to be, this is where reading signals and social intelligence is so important. If a bunch of her friends are starting to have kids and she's, what's the word? Clucky? Is that a global term for, if she's you'll know. As I said, if you're dating women over sort of 27, 28, it's like, it's you know how when Michael Jordan goes to dunk a basketball, I think he's in the air for whatever it is, 0.8 of a second. That's usually how long it takes women, if they think you tick a few boxes, to bring up, so do you want kids? It's one of the reasons I've shied away from women beyond a certain age, because it's just like immediately you hit with that straight away. Will you come meet my parents? I slept with you once last night and I've only spent less than 24 hours with you. So how about we go to the beach and get a meal? This has happened to me a few times. I've been told once. Anyway, don't do that. So I would. I think every woman, if you tell us your target age, that's probably going to help us the most. Because if you're, as Tess pointed out, if it's 23, it might not be.
Here we go. You said mid-20s to low 30s is a sweet spot for you.
I don't think you've even got to worry about it. I think it's going to come up quite naturally. If it doesn't after a period of time, you could start to sort of drop hints. If it's much earlier 20s, because she's quite career focused, you might not get as much as that. Fantastic. We might just... I
think, in conversation as well, if you're talking about family and and you bring up like, oh yeah, my nieces and nephews or my friends' kids or whatever, and kids, you kind of just like bring that into conversation. Then a really natural question to ask is just like, oh, what are your thoughts on kids? And you can elicit that from her. There's no problem with talking about this stuff.
There's a probably pre-25, over 25. There'd be quite dichotomy, shitty wanky word. There'd be quite a difference between girls roughly around that point. So if she's getting a bit closer to her natural end of fertility, it's about 14 up to sort of 32, 33. It's quite natural. And when you get older than that, you're starting to really push evolution a bit.
Yeah, I mean, women can have children into their 40s, but I think we like past the age of 35 is considered like geriatric pregnancy. So yeah, which is funny. I think that to me 35 doesn't seem that old, but apparently that's geriatric for pregnancy.
Yeah, without upsetting the women, the risk levels beyond certain ages and the number of eggs a woman has left just plummets. That's why all these corporate women are getting their eggs frozen when they're 22 or something. Let's get back to the points. Some great questions. We'll do one or two more points, and we'll do lots and lots of questions. So do you want to move to your next point, Tess?
Yeah. Okay, number 3 is emotional maturity. Okay, so I have touched on this one a little bit, but women, we just mature emotionally a lot quicker than you guys, and I apologize if that's a generalization, but I do believe that. I truly believe that. Yeah, so oftentimes, when it's a source of frustration for us when we're with a guy who's the same age, and they just don't get it. They don't understand their own emotions. They don't understand how to deal with ours. And it's just frustrating, and you end up bickering a lot. And that can be unhealthy. So again, this comes down to, the fact that you might have had, as an older man, this whole string of relationship experience. That comes in so handy. You understand how women think, how we communicate, and how we can fluctuate. And you may have traveled a lot, career, etc., which also helps with that sort of thing. What else? When it comes to our emotional fluctuations, like, women have hormones that change a lot on a monthly basis. And not only that, the way we perceive the world is a lot more emotional and relationship based than men. So oftentimes, if you get a group of women together, all we talk about is relationships and the way we feel about things that have happened to us, or feel about our relationships. That's all we talk about. That is literally all we talk about. So when we have a man who actually can communicate in a way that taps into that with us, it forms a lot deeper connection. And we feel like we're on the same wavelength in a way. So having that emotional maturity is a huge benefit in relationships, with women of all ages. But this is why I'm specifically saying that, like, younger women, this is something that's really lacking in when they date a lot of men who are their own age, men in their 20s, that sort of thing. Or even like 20s, 30s. Like, and I'm sure you guys have probably noticed, but women, because the way we perceive the world is very emotional, and the way we get what we want in this world is around our ability to navigate through people's emotions and social dynamics. The way we get things is basically by manipulating other people. But that, not in a bad way. I feel like manipulation has a bad sort of connotation to it. It's definitely a good thing as well. We can, that's why women often make really good mediators, that sort of thing, because we just understand how to empathize with people. And get what we want, both for good and bad. But when you guys have, older guys, often you also have a bit of this yourself, or you at least understand that about women and understand how to speak to that. So what that means is that when we are trying to manipulate you, you can see through that, and oftentimes you're much better at diffusing that situation. Which is hugely attractive to women, because sometimes we don't even realize what we're doing when we're kind of caught up in our emotions. And the way we're acting can be like, we can go a bit overboard sometimes. And then we go away, we're like, oh my God, I don't know why I did that. I was just really stressed, or it was like that time of the month and I was really emotional and I was just like projecting and lashing out and whatever. But when you guys understand and can deal with that, and diffuse it and help get through that with us, then that's hugely attractive to us. And a lot of younger guys, they'll just push it away or not know what to do, or get combative back or something, and that often equals like really bad communication and toxicity. So James, did you want to add to that?
Yes, so many of our clients are really stressed because they've got kids or they've been divorced. They think, oh, no one's going to want me. I'm over the hill, sort of thing. Again, there's vast differences between men and women on all this stuff. So a guy who's been married before and had kids before, to many women is dramatically more desirable because he's been pre-selected. It might have failed after 5 or 10 or 15 years, but he's still dramatically more attractive than a guy who is perpetually single, if that makes sense. Again, we say a lot of generalizations. So the fact that you've been through a lot of ups and downs in life and you don't think the world's coming to an end, that is really important. That is really, really important. So I mean, young guys, they get one major setback in many cases. They just freak out. It's like the world's coming to an end. What the hell is going to happen? Whereas as guys who are certainly 40s, 50s, and late 30s, 60s as well, but we've seen a few things. I mean, just to use me as an example, I just worked and studied my guts out to become the second highest paid financial advisor, Australia's biggest company. Then the bank decided I was making more money than the managers and the senior managers, nearly as much as managers and executives, and they didn't want me there anymore. This happened to a lot of other guys, but I was number 2, so they came after me first. I thought the world was coming to an end. I really thought the world was coming to an end. And I ended up stopping finance and traveling, which I'm happy I did, but most people would have said, dude, you're completely insane. And I lost the love of my life. I've never come close to that. And I really thought the world was coming to an end for me. Emotionally, it was. No matter how many girls I slept with, it didn't sort of fill that hole. But and then in my early 50s, thanks to let's lock the whole world down because a couple of people get some sniffles and some fat people and smokers get into serious health problems. I lost millions of dollars. I had a really crap business for a long time. Then just before COVID, I had a pretty good business. And it was just, and I'd spent so much money getting these clients and I couldn't deliver it. It was a nightmare, the wrong accountant, wrong lawyer. So if this had been 20-something me, I'd have been like, how the hell can I ever get through this? I worked so hard. But it turned out I've now got a dramatically better business model, even though I went through some excruciating pain, career finance-wise. So when you get a bit older, you can see it's just ups and downs, whereas young guys can't. So this essentially is a sales pitch on why you may, unless I've met you personally, I can't tell you for sure. So many of you guys who sort of follow us may be really desirable to hot young girls. Some of you might need a bit of a polished restyling. All of you will need touch, eye contact, body language, elite level conversation skills, women's tests, reading women's signals, how to run a date plan, maybe a sexual skill. You'll need all this stuff as well. But if you just fill in a few of your weaknesses, you'd be astounded. Just astounded how well you can do. Fantastic. So, Tess, what's the next point?
Let's have a look.
And if anyone wants to go on, Tess, you go.
So I've also touched on this a little bit because all of these things that we've talked about today kind of like interlink. But self-awareness. This comes down. This is also part of emotional maturity as well, like emotional intelligence. But it's also, hang on, I wrote a couple notes here. It's also that you know yourself in terms of, you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are, and that usually means that you're just comfortable in your own skin. And now this also relates to confidence, like I was talking about before. But being comfortable in your own skin, and that means being comfortable with your weaknesses as well, is something that's hugely attractive to women. When you're like insecure in any way, or you try to hide something, it's yeah, it just shows that you're not at peace with yourself, you know, and yeah, people who are like have inner turmoil or like have unresolved issues or things that they're yeah, superficial things that they're worried about constantly. It just takes up a lot of mental space, and yeah, that takes away a lot from your ability, like from being attractive to women, but also your ability to be present in a relationship, that sort of thing. So I mean, there's a lot. I'm going into a bit of depth here around this, but yeah, you know, going back to superficial things, you know, older guys might be starting to grey or balding, etc. So a lot of the time, you guys just let go of all that stuff, and embrace it, you know, and you know, you're not just obsessed with going to the gym every day and you know, bulking up and yeah, and being some, you know, unrealistic version of what a human being should be. When really women don't care about that stuff. I mean, there's obviously a portion of women who are into like bodybuilding and stuff, and yeah, they think that's cool. But yeah, generally speaking, women are really not that interested in that. And in fact, they're more attracted to men who have interests outside of just going to the gym every week, every day. I mean, you know, guys who have, yeah, who are more, yeah, focused on other passions, you know, focused on their career and have other goals beyond just those superficial things. You know, a lot of younger guys are very ego driven. And again, I like, no offense to you young guys, there are some great young guys out here. This is just being very general. But yeah, you can be more ego driven when you're younger. That's what I found anyway. And lacking some of that self-awareness and yeah, you know, humility. Yeah.
That's great. So in terms of self-awareness, Tess has covered it well. You know exactly who you are. This is something you guys have to understand. Confidence, self-awareness. You might not have the perfect woman. You might not have the skills or the self-esteem to get the perfect woman. But compared to you when you were 25 and most of the guys in America, Canada, Australia, England, most of Western Europe, you've probably got a much stronger sense of who you are and your purpose in life. And yeah, I mean, one of the things that I know has helped me massively, partially because of travel and whatever career success, but girls have said, oh my God, you're just 100% sure of every single word that comes out your mouth. And many women have said that's like the most attractive thing of all. So yeah, you old guys understand, older guys, I'm not saying you're like 85, you older guys really don't understand the value that you have for women. Yeah, as we keep saying, it all gets back to polishing up or developing your key skills, which is touch, eye contact, body language, body positioning. So yeah, if you would like to get a PhD in that, which many of our clients have said, this absolutely angel of a woman who's a catwalk model. How do we do the two people one? Yeah, anyway. This absolute angel of a woman who's a catwalk model and my best female coach ever. Tomorrow, she's the boss of all these hot girls and sort of the female head of our community, former catwalk model. Tomorrow, you can literally go on a date and get life-changing feedback about everything you're doing right and wrong. I think tomorrow and Tuesday, I just need to check the calendar will tell you. So yeah, so that's the girl there. And yeah, we've got a bunch of other female coaches who do it, but Tess is the best. So what basically happens is you identify, you'll approach Tess, you'll go on dates with Tess, you just do whatever you normally do, and she'll be there with a pad and pen of paper. And she's going to identify and eliminate the mistakes that have been holding you back your whole life. Just doing this one exercise, you'll literally beat 95% of guys you're competing against on dates and approaching just by doing this one session, simply because your conversation skills are going to go through the roof. Your approaching skills are going to go through the roof. But most importantly of all, the sort of 25 things that are holding you back, that's important. But what we want to do is identify the number one, identify number two, identify number three, and start to make you aware of that. You've probably got no clue about what your two of your top three things that are really holding you back are. None of the guys we do these 45-minute sessions with do. And then Tess, who's a professional at this, will turn it into a custom plan for you to follow. So whether you implement with us or you implement yourself, if you just follow this plan, it's like 45 minutes will give you like years and years of improvement with women with just a tiny bit of implementation. You walk away knowing how to get hot dates. And if you're skeptical about the claims we make, we had 14 people in the last boot camp. Everyone loved it. One guy flew from LA, New York, South Africa, all around Australia. Yeah, it's just to beat the average American, Australian, Canadian, Dutch, Swedish, German. It's so easy. It's so easy. You just got to eliminate one or two things and do one or two things right. This could be you tomorrow. We charge $1,500 on the website for that. If you're Australian interested in our help, we're getting quite a reasonable number of sales from a pitiful number of YouTube views, and I'm hiring video editors and YouTube strategists. So yeah, this could be a big opportunity to get coaching that may cost a hell of a lot more in a few months. Because the business is doing quite well. I said 2 people flew from America. So yeah, not $1,495, just $1. If you do it tomorrow and the next couple of days, I'll join in with you. So if you guys are watching in the replay, there'll be a link in the chat. And yeah, you get a chance to book in there. Get quite a few people doing that. And yeah, we've got Australian Bootcamp coming up to 5th to 8th. And we're probably going to be announcing another one soon. But we might not do many more in Australia. We're going to probably move to Bali and charge a hell of a lot more. So let's get back onto your next point, Tess. I think Tess, David said something lovely. If you just want to put that one up. Thank you so much, David. He's a MMA expert or something, that guy. How many push-ups can he do? A lot. So how do I get us back there?
Thanks, David. Thanks, David. We really appreciate that. David's saying it's worth it. So yeah, David was just on our last event, and I've been coaching David for a while now. But yeah, thank you, David. We love working with you. Yeah. So if you guys want to book in with me, let me just grab the link. I'm a little bit ahead.
So,
have you got it, James?
Yes, I did something right with technology. Can you believe it?
Awesome.
I should be buying a lotto ticket. Is it going? Yeah. Yep, it's...
Okay, cool. So that's in there. Yep.
Let's go on to the next point. Yeah, so click the link below and you'll book a time, whether you're watching live or watching the replay.
Yes, so I've pinned that in the chat for you guys as well. So you should, it should be pinned right at the top of the chat. So you can click on that whenever you're ready. Again, yeah, I've got availability tonight and tomorrow night. I'd love to work with you. So my next point was life experience. Again, I've touched on this a little bit, but yeah, why is this attractive to women? Okay, so often, it means you can teach us things, which we love. We love having new experiences, learning new insights. Potentially doing these things with you, trying new things, traveling, etc. This is again something that a lot of younger guys are lacking. Life experience. You guys, older guys obviously have usually tried a lot of different things, been to a lot of places, understand about a lot of different cultures, have been through a couple of different jobs. You guys, you have a life experience to back you. That's something that's hugely important, exciting to women. We love when you can take us on a date and you can be the leader and you're giving us an experience that we haven't had before, or you just know how to handle yourselves. It just means that we can relax. We don't have to think about too much, and we can just relax into the experience. We can let you be the leader, and we trust you to be the leader, and we feel safe with you taking that role. And it allows us to feel more feminine as well. Another one is potentially more sexually experienced. So obviously that's pretty self-explanatory. Women love that. so yeah, that's a big strength for some older guys as well.
Yeah, this is huge, and this is something you guys really, really underrate. You might have traveled, you might have read books, you might have had some real ups and downs in life and got through them. You may have had a family. You may have really succeeded in your career. Another thing that women have been doing since the beginning of time. I don't so much anymore, but when I coach younger guys, when I used to coach a lot of younger guys, the first thing I told them if they were in their 20s was, okay, you're in your 20s, you're a lawyer. You're in your 20s, you're a dentist. You're in your 20s, you're an actuary. You're in your 20s, you're a plumber. Or plumber's not the best example, pilot. Try to date a woman who's in your industry, who's many steps ahead of you, because you're going to get this absolutely turbocharged career experience. A bunch of my clients from 10, 15 years ago, they've become rich simply because they're a lawyer and they dated some girl who was a partner in a firm, or they were a stockbroker, dated a girl. But it just happens so often. You engineers and plumbers might not have quite the number of attractive women in the industry that other people do. But even if you work in tech, there's going to be hot girls who are employed as sales reps who you can date when they're older. So, and the older woman can teach you some tricks. It's exactly the same with girls times 10. Women since the beginning of time have been dating older men to move themselves up in life. And why do they do that so maniacally? Why does any girl with half a brain want to date guys much older than them? Because it's one of the best life hacks you can ever do. It's like, it's incredible. It's like almost having a time machine of life experience you can get from yourself for yourself just by dating someone. So yeah, again, this episode is almost like what do you call a podcast or a YouTube live? Is it an episode or a show? I don't even know. This is so much about helping you understand how to many younger women, you guys are crack. A lot of you probably need a bit polished up and some conversation skills, the ability to just start the conversation. But yeah, it's just so desirable. So yeah, there's so many, like I've introduced girls to films or directors or books, or I've traveled places with them, or I've recommended places they've traveled, or I've introduced them to meditation, or girlfriends of mine do acting courses and stuff, or introduce them to really impressive people who are my friends. So particularly when I was in America, I had a lot of really incredible friends, some ex-clients. I'm dating these models. I'm introducing them to like founders of famous companies and, sort of slightly world famously DJs and this sort of thing. Athletes. So yeah, there's so much you can give a young girl. Remember where Tess started out. If she wanted to date some hot young guy, it's like, oh, we go out to clubs, or we go out to bars. I quit my job and become a guitarist or something. So yeah, we've got so much going for us that most guys just don't understand, and society doesn't really promote this at all. It's just the six pack and the abs and all this essentially nonsense. So yeah, we'd love to handle your questions. I will I'll give you some of my own secrets of getting younger women in a bit, but let's do some questions first.
There have been a few come through, guys, so I'm just gonna quickly scroll back and see what we've missed out on.
I don't think we'll put that one up. That's my Celtic genes. That's the drinking? Yeah. That's the my parents. I grew up in Perth, mate. Yeah, a man is measured by one thing and one thing only: how quickly can he drink a carton of beer and not vomit? Nothing else. And the Sheilas in Perth, they're fucking proud of that, mate. Fucking proud of it. Yeah. Oh, Dennis came home last night and we had sex. How was it? It wasn't very good, but he drank 28 Crown lagers in one sitting. He's going to be my husband. He's the dream guy for me. It doesn't matter whether you're a hedge fund guy or a surgeon or a professional athlete or the Dalai Lama. All that matters is you can drink a lot of booze. Anyway, that's kind of true when I grew up. I think Perth's developed a little bit since I was a boy, but But yeah, my Celtic genes. Jeff, nice smile, nice eyes, great personality, sense of humor, and genuine. I can't remember the context of that. I'm sorry.
Not sure. If you're saying that about me, thank you, Jeff.
I
I
think
work with
it
Jeff.
could be. I think it could be.
It could be.
Tess,
I'm
Tess
going to steal that one. I'm going to say that was about me.
I'm pretty sure it was. I don't think it was about me because I don't have a nice smile. I got a really crappy smile. That's one of my ugliest parts of me. Nice eyes. I don't know about that. Great personality. About 1% of the population thinks so. Good sense of humor. Maybe 2% of the population thinks so. I am very genuine though. So at least I ticked one of them, 1.5. Samson saying, you can read it out, Tess, because you've got a nice smile, nice eyes, great personality, sense of humor, and genuine, of which I maybe have one.
Okay, so Samson says, I agree with James here. Something that's happened to me is often I get asked for advice. As for confidence, I went out dancing last night and had a woman constantly rub up against me. Again, missing a little bit of context there. What do you agree with? As in you were coming across as confident and you had a woman constantly rubbing up against you? I think that's what you mean. That's awesome. That's great. I love that you're confident on a dance floor as well. Awesome, Samson. Yeah. So you see, like when you carry yourself with confidence, it attracts women. You'll often get picked up by women if you're, the guy who's holding attention in a room. Yeah, similarly to, I think Jeff actually, who I was talking to recently, got picked up by a woman after performing, like singing in front of, at like an open mic night type thing. Just being on stage, it's that confidence, that masculinity, that leadership, alpha male quality of being on stage. Women, they take off their bras and throw them at you. Yeah, that's really awesome. James, did you want to ask that?
Tess has touched on a really good point. If you're on stage and you're public speaking and you're talking about the rigidity of different pipes they use in plumbing, the girls in the audience want to F you. Just put a man on the stage, panties just start coming up. It doesn't really matter what he's talking about. Just make him a leader in any sort of situation. If you get a job and you're the driver of a tour bus going around Europe, there's a bunch of girls on that. They want to sleep with you. Like, we see boobs and big eyes and big lips and long legs and all that good stuff. And most of us want to sleep with her. Women see a guy who's a leader. I want to sleep with him. That's why as men, we're very, very fortunate. We're really, obviously tall is very, very good. I'm not going to deny that for a second. But we're not really limited by our genetics outside of height. You don't need to be that attractive. Being too attractive is a disadvantage. You don't need to be that rich at all. You just need to be a leader. Yeah. Who gets more hot pussy? The guy playing 80s covers down the local suburban bar, or the guy who works for a hedge fund? It's I can tell who wins most of the time. What's the next one? This is question time, guys. So you got a former model who's probably the world's best dating coach for men, who's female. And yeah, I've been doing this for 19 years. So yeah, any questions about younger women, about dating, attraction, anything in particular? We went through the content a bit quicker than we usually do. So we're here to serve you. And the most value you get on these, I know because I've watched a few of them back, is us answering your questions. So
we have a few comments here, James. I'll just skip forward to another good question that came through from Gravity KB. Welcome. And so do you have to be like Brad Pitt or Chris Hemsworth to be attractive, or just be yourself and natural with women? I know it's cliche. Is it true? Not overdoing it works best. Yeah, I guess. What do you mean by overdoing it? But yeah, if you mean like don't try too hard, yes. Okay, as soon as a woman feels like you're trying really, really hard to impress her, you come across as desperate, and she'll start to question, like, why is this guy putting me on a pedestal? Why is he trying so hard to impress me? It's obviously because he thinks he's either unworthy of me or there's something wrong with him. And she just starts to question, you know. And this is the typical thing of why women often, you know, they meet a guy who like ticks all their boxes and everything is really easy in the early dating, you know, parts of early dating. She's like, something's just wrong, even though everything's right. And it's literally because it's too easy and because it's too, she's not like fighting for anything, right? But then when there's the bad boy who treats her like shit and creates some sort of like mystery and allure that she's just hooks her, she chooses that guy. Like, what the hell? What the hell? So many women do that. So yeah, it's try less hard. But yeah, there are some certain things which you need to be doing to be attractive to a woman, and it's not looking like Brad Pitt or Chris Hemsworth. That's really not that important. Coming across as being masculine and confident and having, you know, leadership qualities, those sorts of things. That's what you need. Communication skills, like knowing how to communicate with a woman, to make her enjoy actually talking to you and building connection with you is really important. And not looking like you're trying too hard to impress.
I'm going to take this in a slightly different direction. If you do look like Brad Pitt or Chris Hemsworth, that sucks. That really sucks. Now, I'm not saying you don't want to be above average looking, because that would be a lie. But being really good looking is a savage disadvantage, because women are so mean to you. They are so mean to you. It's dramatically hard to sleep with women that you really like. If you're a super hot guy, I mean, you can run through 6s and 7s like nobody's business with just a little bit of skill. But to actually get a girl you want, when you see a super hot guy, even a fairly hot guy, women automatically assume he's a player because they've grown up watching silly soap operas where every time they see some hot guy, he's a lying, cheating, conniving, manipulative cunt. So that they just assume every time they see a hot guy that he's like that. Whereas a lot of them are horrifically insecure, because I had a stupidly hot 50-year-old guy in the last boot camp. And yeah, I mean, he said some really dark things about the places he'd been with women, like really dark. I'm not going to repeat them here in detail, but yeah, the hell this poor guy's been through just because he's so hot, and women just want to poke him and poke him and poke him and see if he's really as manly as he looks. So if you're like, you know, bottom 5%, bottom 10%, that is hard. That is hard. But you can make up for so much of this with skill, energy, and a good wardrobe. Women don't have this option. A woman's not going to dress away from like a, you know, 1.5 up to like a 6. It's just never going to happen. Whereas guys can. And again, if you're the leader, it doesn't really matter. Look at all these celebrities who are like Sean, what's his name? Sean Penn. I mean, that is one ugly dude. I mean, he's not an attractive dude at all. He's quite masculine, but he runs through women less than half his age like nobody's business. The guy's got more wrinkle than most of the dead people. He's like not an attractive guy, but he's very, very sure of himself. So, yeah, I mean, if you look at who's the greatest Hollywood philanderer, I don't know if Brad Pitt's even close. I mean, he hasn't had that much. He got the craziest woman of all. So I just really don't think you need to be Brad Pitt. I think this is, okay, I know, this is bullshit put in your head by people who want to sell you stuff. It's bullshit put in your head by people who want to sell you stuff. You don't look like Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt endorses Ray-Ban sunglasses. If you go buy Ray-Ban sunglasses and Omega watches, maybe you'll get a bit closer to looking like Brad Pitt. No, you just pay absurd margins for products that probably aren't even that good. So, yes, for women, their appearance is a huge determinant in their mating success. For men, it really doesn't matter that much. Testosterone is far more important. Being healthy, high testosterone. Height, yeah, unfortunately, that's something women really, really want. That is an issue. But yeah, being this really good-looking guy is just nonsense. And the other thing about women is, and I've done this so many times, and you can Google this. They get shown a really hot guy who's, you know, badly dressed in clothes that don't fit, a few too many colors, maybe flashing brand names or something in crappy shoes. And you ask a bunch of girls, well, what's that guy out of 10? They'll go like, oh, he's a 4. The guy's Men's Health cover model, but he's just dressed badly. And then you look at a guy who's quite a bit below average looking, but he's beautifully dressed. Everything fits. It fits him well. He's got a haircut that suits him. He walks with confidence. And then you ask all these women, there was actually a study done about this. You ask these women how attractive they go. Oh, yeah, he's like an 8 or 9. He's hot. Because men think women are like us, and women think men are like us. So what do men want? Hot bodies. So what do we do when we want to get better with them? We go lift some weights and eat some protein. Whereas that's not what women want. So yeah, women need to spend more time exercising, and men need to spend more time shopping. And the world will be much happier.
Okay. We've got a few comments here. Yeah, so sorry, I'm just lost myself here a bit. It looks like a couple of you guys are having a bit of a conversation in our chat, so I'm just trying to get on top of this.
What's the conversation?
So someone's asked for some advice, and a few guys are giving their own advice as well. Definitely in line with what we've talked about. Just
might as well read through it. It's kind of interesting. Might be interesting to the viewer.
Yeah, Bungalow says, thanks, appreciate the good advice. Yeah, and then Samson said, hey there, Gravity K, I'm 110 kilos, 5'6" and hairy, so definitely not the case.
I might just put this one up quickly. Sorry. Average body, probably have a dad bod, very active. Yeah, I mean, a bunch of my model trainers prefer a dad bod, and some of them are maniacal about it. I don't want a guy who's down the gym 3 or 4 times a week, standing in front of a mirror, doing his bicep, trying to get the bottom of his bicep up. What sort of a homosexual, horrible, just contemptible human being is that? Women are the vain ones. Men are the leaders and the people who go after our mission. So the idea, particularly with a woman over 22, 23, this like ripped body with perfect muscles, the idea that's attractive to women, it's actually a turn-off. It can be a big turn-off for a lot of girls. Like, what do you do with your life? Sit-ups? What else? Arm curls? And just because they're attracted to the way a guy looks doesn't necessarily mean they're attracted to him. Sorry, Tess, go on.
No. I think like being healthy is attractive, definitely. And being active as well is attractive. But you might a lot of guys who go to the gym and that's all they do and care about the way they look. They're actually not that active, and they're not really they don't do actual activities. They don't know. So what happens is, they just get obsessed with the way they actually look. But when, you might see them and think, oh, this is a healthy guy, but then he actually, he just like drinks heaps of protein smoothies, or I don't know, and like then doesn't spend any time outdoors because he's always in the gym. It's just, it doesn't really equate. Yeah. So healthy, I think, is attractive, absolutely, and being active. But being gym obsessed and being absolutely obsessed about the way you look is definitely not attractive to women.
It's really bad. It's like if you've got a much bigger wardrobe or spend more time in front of a mirror than your girl you're dating, you're screwed. Natalia, one of my very best female coaches, she dated a male model. And Natalia is similar to Tess. She's very adventurous, whatever, skydiving, hiking, all this stuff. And she just thought it was repulsive, absolutely repulsive. I mean, the guy was super hot, but he's more time in front of the mirror than her. It's like crazy. Another example. Sorry?
I've experienced the same thing with a couple of like male model guys I've dated, but also guys who aren't male models who like take longer to get ready, to get dressed than I do. And it's
oh my God.
It's a little bit of a turn off. I mean, I get changed pretty quick, actually. I think that's a skill of mine. But when it's like guys fretting over like, oh, I don't like this shirt, and trying on like 5 different things, it's like, oh no, this isn't gonna work.
Oh, Tess, you might like me. I wear the same shirt every day, and if it's a bit hotter, I put a singlet on. So there's not much decision making involved in my process. So yeah, but a lot of women have said they love that. They love it's like Bauhaus style. I think this really brings it home. I live in Bondi Beach, which probably has the hottest guys and maybe the hottest girls in Australia. And there's an iconic outdoor gym there, and there are some of the hottest dudes you've ever seen in Australia, in the world there. And also there's a sauna just up from it. And there's some of the hottest dudes you've ever seen there. And I'm like this sort of skinny, weedy, stick man, old guy with a big nose and could still work on his posture with the grey beard. And there's so many women who sometimes hit on me, but they're looking at me and some of them come up and try to talk to me. And I'm just like, look at that dude doing like muscle ups with one arm or something, or one arm pull ups or something. I can't even do one muscle up. I'm struggling to get out 40 push ups. But they wanted me. Why is that? Because I'm wearing a plain colored singlet. I'm wearing shorts all the same color. And then you see this absurdly hot human being, male human being, and his board shorts don't fit. And they look too old and you can't see his bum. And then he's got these shoes that don't even match. And women look at this sort of sticky little 74 kilo, whatever it is, 170 pound, big nosed old dude. They're more interested in me. Hope that really helps you understand. It's not what you look like, it's how you present yourself in terms of style and how confident and how well you carry yourself and how you sort of appear to be a leader in social situations. That's what women want. Just like if you put some dude on a stage talking about dexterity of plumbing fixtures, the women there are probably going to want to take him to bed. It's just that's the way women think. We see boobs and long legs and pretty eyes. Yeah, I want to take her to bed. Women see leaders. Yeah, I want to take him to bed. It's simple human evolution. They want security and status in case shit goes down and you need someone to protect you. And we want fertility. So anyone who's not as attractive as they'd like to be, I was ugly as sin till probably 27, 28. I think when I took charge of my own diet and started lifting a bit of weights and exercising more, I think I turned it around a bit. Okay. Let me see. So next questions.
Okay, so just following on from this, Gravity K says, stop pleasing and focus on your confidence. And the more you want them to come to you, the less they come. So don't put them on a pedestal, let them come to you. Ironically, that's what works. So yeah, again, it's just about, not trying too hard and making it obvious that you're trying really hard. And okay, Nobody's Perfect says, I remember you, James, saying you never had a girlfriend until 31.
Yeah, I was a shocker. However bad any of you guys think you were with women, I'll destroy you. I'll completely destroy you. Like 19-year-old Mike Tyson would destroy you. I was the Nobel Prize winner. That's how I ended up doing this. So yeah, and then the girl I did date was basically a gold digger. All her friends were gold diggers. We had nothing in common. She was an amazing sex teacher. I'm so grateful I had her in my life. But yeah, we didn't really talk about anything. We went out to coffee or whatever, and I'd read the Australian newspaper or Business Review Weekly or something, and she'd read, I don't know, Cosmo or Clio. Or it was not a proper relationship at all. But I wore beautiful suits, and I was, taller than her, and she had a vagina and would let me use it on a regular basis. And I paid for pretty much everything, and that was the basis of our relationship. So yeah, but yeah, I was horrifically bad with women. I think some people said some wonderful things about you and the course. I'm not sure. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, they did. So I think, if if anyone's just logged on, if you guys want to work with me for just $1.
Put the comments up first. We've got some some
All right,
social
so-
proof, as they say. It's like if you have a bunch of cool people around you or hot girls, then women want you more. So we'll do the social
I've just
proof
seen this because I was trying to scroll through some of the questions we met. But yeah, when we were talking about what we do, thank you, David, again. He says, worth it in capital letters. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, if anyone wants to book in with me, just $1 tomorrow. David says it's worth it. And who we've got here? Rambala says, I will second that. The feedback Tess and James gives is great. Thank you, Rambala. And Jeff again says, I second it. See you Tuesday night, Tess. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you, Jeff, then. So yeah, I've only had a couple of sessions with Jeff and we've made some great progress. So yeah, I'm also looking forward to seeing you there. And thanks for being here tonight, Jeff. Oh, another one. Here we go. I can attest to James' methodical teaching as a result of doing his boot camp. And 7 years back, I dated a beautiful Sri Lankan woman. Okay, so you've obviously worked with us quite a while ago, Samson. So that's really cool. Thanks again for your comment. All of your nice comments, guys. It's this is why we do what we do. It's to help you guys, and it feels it's super rewarding when we see the transformations that come from working with you. I think that's all the nice comments. So let's get back to our...
Oh, no, One Force Team. Glenn, he's one of my favorite clients in the last boot camp.
What did Glenn say?
Glenn, the guy is 64 with nearly all dark hair.
Is this Glenn Sampson?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting confused by the name. Thanks for being here, Glenn. We love you.
So if anyone wants to go on a date with Tess, I think Monday or Tuesday, just where's the Zoom link? Just do the Zoom link, and you'll be getting your life transformed by this lovely woman. Who was that? 3 or 4 people who've come. So yeah, just put the link in again, just in case.
Okay.
So thank you so much for that, guys. Really appreciate the feedback. And we'll get back to questions.
Just one
Everybody, professional musician. 6.
So yeah, it is pinned in the chat, the link for you guys, but I'll put it in again for you. There we go. So yeah, just click in there. I think, yeah, we still have some availability for both tomorrow and Tuesday. So, so yeah, book in with me. It's only $1, and like a lot of these guys have said, it's worth it. And if anything, you just can get some great feedback straight away to help you, improve with women drastically straight away. So let's...
watching the replay, there'll be a chat there. And yeah, for you Aussie guys, there's probably a short window where you can get to work with us for a price a hell of a lot better than it will be once we get on YouTube, because the number of views we're getting and the number of sales is it's quite pleasing. I just got to get more views, and who knows. Okay, so stop pleasing and focus on confidence. The more you want them to come to you, the less they come. So you just don't want to put them on the pedestal and let them come to you ironically. That's very, very wise advice, Gravity. Thank you. When we coach people, the first thing we do is touch eye contact, body language, elite level conversation skills. We dress them better. We give them a date plan. But once they make a few steps in that direction, it turns out to, as Tess brilliantly pointed out, it turns out to be their understanding of female psychology. And Jackie, Monique, Nevena, female coaches you can see on my YouTube channel, these women have all freely admitted in their mid-20s or early 20s or late 20s, the number one thing they're attracted to is a guy who doesn't really notice them or pay much attention to them. Why is that? Because if I meet some stupidly beautiful girl and I'm just like, oh, hey, how you doing? Just treat her like a human being. I'm not like, immediately she's so attracted to me. She's so attracted to me. Because in her mind, she probably doesn't realize consciously, that's a huge pre-selection signal. if you can see a super attractive girl and you treat her like a human being, she thinks, oh, this guy's probably had really hot girls before. So women are quite clever. They don't go dating and sleeping with like thousands of guys to pick the best one. They look at, okay, what are other women interested in, or what are other women doing? That's why, if I deeply regret not living in New York last 20 years, because I could have probably easily got my hands on some celebrities. And as soon as you get hands on celebrities, it's like, oh, she's famous. I want to date him. So yeah, it's just women pre-selection, confidence. Don't be intimidated by their beauty. That's why I hire women like Tess and Natalia and Nevena, so that when you do the 45-hour boot camp, you're constantly desensitized to women you'd consider scary hot. Many of you are at least very, very hot. Anything you want to add to that? How if you really like a guy, but he's a bit sort of, oh, she's really pretty, how that can really turn you off, Tess?
Yeah, this has happened to me like quite a bit. So it's almost like a subconscious thing. It's like, why is this guy like, I'm like, you start to question why they value you so highly when they're when they clearly have like a few things going for them, I think anytime a guy is it's just a bit pathetic. I don't know, when you get put on a pedestal. But also what happens as well when guys do that really early on, it's usually because what they value is actually just the way you look. And when women feel that, especially beautiful women who get told they're beautiful all the time, and that's what people value them for, it actually becomes really frustrating, and it becomes really almost like an insult when someone says, "Oh, you're so beautiful," and like that's all they care about. And yeah, when a man like places a lot of emphasis on that early on, and that's why he goes out of his way to treat you like a princess or whatever. It's kind of pathetic, but it's also like kind of insulting to a woman who oftentimes, like, all we want is you to be able to see beyond that and actually value us as a human being, and not just like a sexual object or a trophy girlfriend or wife to like put on your mantelpiece. It's just it's kind of degrading. And so these are some of the reasons why if you do that early on, it just won't last. Like we'll just be like, no, I'm not this guy. I'm not like, we don't have authentic connection. He doesn't value me the way I want to be valued, etc.
I might give you guys some really advanced stuff here. Okay, why do women not like guys who drool over their beauty? I would say this is the biggest reason, even though if you asked a million women, not many would actually understand. If you work in the same company or you're friends with one of Tess's girlfriends and you get to date her, but you don't have the ability to go out and get other women as hot as her, find any hot girl and ask her, tell me your best stalker story. A Model X friend of mine had like 4 of them. Every hot girl's got a stalker story, and some of them are freaking terrifying. I've had a really bad stalker, 6-foot German girl, and that I was terrified. And obviously, she's probably not going to beat me in a fight. So one of the reasons they don't like guys who are blown away by their beauty is because it's like, okay, well, who aren't confident, even if they think he's great and they connect on it with so many levels and he's got money, is they're worried if they decide a year in or 6 months in or 3 years in, if she breaks up with him. Who's heard the Eminem song Kim? That sums it up better than anything else. You were supposed to love me. Now bleed, bitch, bleed, bleed, bitch, bleed. And then he slits her throat and throws her in a car. I can't remember the exact lyrics. But that's every beautiful woman's greatest fear. You end up having your throat slit in the back seat of Slim Shady's car, because that's the reality for hot girls. Some of them have been through just absolute terrifying situations. So many of my ex-girlfriends have been through, like, they tell me the stories. I'm just like, what the hell? What the hell's going on? They're just absolutely terrified, the stuff that happens. For some reason, I rewatched the movie Fatal Attraction. Who's old enough to remember Fatal Attraction, where Glenn Close and Michael Douglas? Yeah, and it's like how terrifying it is when you have a stalker. I wanted to relax last night because I had sort of half a day off, and I watched Fatal Attraction. The whole time, my pulse rate was about 10 beats per minute higher than my resting pulse rate, because that was really scary for me when you've had like a partner who goes nuts on you. But imagine if that partner's much stronger than you, and much more violent than you, has more testosterone than you. So this is probably one of the most important things I've shared in a YouTube live for a while. Bunny boiler, good on you, David. Yeah, she boiled the bunny really well, Glenn Close. But yeah, that's like one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen in my life. I didn't understand what it's like to have stalkers when I first saw it. But yeah, a German one I met in India. Whoa. If anyone wants to hear my German stalker story and how terrifying that was, just go James's stalker story. Tess, do you have a really good stalker story you can share with us?
I did have a bit of a stalker story, but yeah, it's actually something I haven't shared with a lot of people. But yeah, so I won't go into depth around it. But yeah, I did have a pretty scary situation as well. Like, admittedly, there were probably a few red flags, but yeah, I did have someone who yeah, I was in a pretty terrifying situation at one stage, and yeah, there was definitely some like psychological manipulation stuff involved with that as well. So yeah, it was horrible. It was really, really horrible. And yeah, James is right. I do know quite a few women, especially like really attractive women, models, etc., who have had similar scenarios. To the extent where like some women I know are like really paranoid about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like if a guy like looks at her in a creepy way when she's walking down the street, like, yeah, I know a couple of women who like this, that she's just like, oh my God, who is this guy? It's like scary. Yeah, because yeah, a lot of women I know have been through some yeah, hectic stuff with guys.
You guys have no idea how terrifying it is. I mean, I might have been a feminist in the 80s and 90s, but yeah, if you're an attractive girl, yeah, you can't sleep with the window open. It's very scary doing things at night in many parts of the world. It's like something we just can't get our mind around. I mean, I've walked through Pakistan as an independent backpacker, Iran and Zimbabwe and Nicaragua, a whole bunch of crazy places I shouldn't have been. So I know what it's like to be sort of living in fear, but that's some hot girl's life the whole time. So yeah, we should use this as more of a selling point. If you're not really confident with women, you probably won't get a hot girl, because if she's not really confident you can replace her, if she decides, no, this isn't the guy for me, she probably won't end up with you in the start. And I mean, without being conceited, that's one of the reasons my clients and I have such an easy time with women, because we're so confident with women, it doesn't enter their mind that it could turn into a stalker. So immediately you've shot yourself past 95% of guys, because most guys are, oh, she's really beautiful. They're all uncomfortable. They're on edge. They don't know what to say. A guy who's usually really confident in many situations can just turn into a complete pile of, drool around a hot woman. I see it on boot camps all the time. Every client, really, when they get around a girl who most guys consider a 9 or above. So yeah, excellent question. So yeah, we should do don't ever be a guy who could be considered a stalker, and on that one metric alone, your results with women will just go nuts. What's this one been? I've been asked already to go next week, my social group, which consists of women I used to sleep with, her mother. Yeah, social proof is great. Social proof is great. That's awesome.
So this is Simon, by the way.
I know. Yeah, thank you.
Hey Simon, nice to see you here. Okay, so
Oh, we've done that one. You can take control of the comments, Tess. I've got no idea what I'm doing.
I think this one kind of, similar to stuff we've already talked about. Do women care about muscles? Or can you be not as good looking but have a great personality and lots of money? Does that make a difference? Yes, having a great personality makes a big difference. Having a lot of money can make a difference, but not always the most important thing. And yeah, I would say that having a great personality is a much bigger strength than having muscles. Absolutely, yeah.
By 100-fold or something.
Yeah.
Just what was it? Okay, let's talk about money. Now, there is a subset of girls who are extremely attracted to money and will pursue it at the expense of many other things. So let's leave out the gold diggers. We need to, but generally, everything to do with women, apart from height maybe and testosterone, you want to be above average, but you don't want to be that far above average. I shared with you the guy from the last boot camp who's like properly hot. And he's been through hell with women that most of you guys can't even fathom, because they see him, he's masculine, and they immediately feel something in their knickers, and they go, oh, how can I be so attracted to this guy? He's such a man and he's so hot. So they start poking him really hard just to see if he's a real man. And it's like put him through serious emotional pain and some of the most darkest points that most men go through, because he's so hot. Equally, when you start dating really, really hot girls, you realize how horrible their entire dating life has been, how they've just been this object. And then it's just been, and then most of the decent guys are scared of them. Or like a guy who might go on a date with a girl, let's call her an 8 or a 9. He goes on a date with a girl he considers a 10. He might be really confident with the 8 or the 9, but he gets on a date with a 10. He turns into some blubbering mess. So, hot tip that I used to great extent when I figured it out: if she's really tall, like 5'10" or above, if she's really beautiful, and she's got an above average IQ, all the things I love, they're so easy because every other guy is convinced that she's too hard for him. So yeah, I would imagine really hot 5'6" girls have much better dating lives than really hot 5'10" girls. Bonza, that's good for me. So yeah, do women care about muscles? Not really. Do women care about health? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do women care about a pretty reasonable level of testosterone? Yes. Can lifting weights in the gym bring you testosterone? Yes. But can jiu-jitsu or soft sand running or hill running or keeping away from the chemical avalanche we're subjected to, which isn't that hard? I mean, I'm 54. Look at me. You can probably find a grey hair if you really go underneath. There's a bit here. Yeah, part of it is because I've had sex with a lot of younger girls, but a part of it is I've just tried to stay as far away from chemicals as I can. And I mean, yoga is 100 times more sexy than going to gym, lifting weights 3-4 hours a day, 3-4 times a week. So yeah, muscles might help a bit more with younger women. They do help to the extent that they improve testosterone. And if you're a really short guy who's quite slim, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of benefit for them. But other than that, it just doesn't really matter that much. And if you look at the sex symbols of all time, most of them are really skinny dudes. Next question.
Oh wow! I'm just going to put this one up because we missed it. I recently went on a recent boot camp. Was singly the best thing I ever did for my dating life. I now feel like a totally different person around women, more confident, more powerful, more skilled. Thanks heaps, guys. Thank you so much. That's so beautiful for you to say. That's Glenn, actually. Thank you, Glenn. Yeah, thank you. We loved having you there, and thank you so much for your sweet, kind words. That means a lot to us.
It does, man.
So again, if anyone else wants to do the singly best thing that they've ever done for their dating life, if you want to give that a go, book in with me tomorrow. We can give you a little taster of what that looks like. It's only $1, so really good value. And yeah, I've got some availability the next 2 days. Also, if the availability that we have there that doesn't suit you, feel free to email info@socialcoach.com. Just say, hey, I'd like some more information, or I'd like to take up the $1 deal. But your availability didn't suit me, and we'll definitely try to work around that with you.
And this guy was born in the Nixon presidency or before the Kennedy presidency. So he's had a long life, and he said that was the single best thing I ever did for my dating life. I didn't even know who he was till someone decoded his name. So, merci beaucoup, Tremexi Banyak, muchas gracias, Shandy. Thank you so much, man. And it all starts by getting on a date with Tess, because we don't take anyone any other way. Wonderful. Let's go on to the next question.
This one's a bit unrelated. I'll just put it up there. James and Tess, do you have friends in Bondi? There's just been a shooting at the beach. Thank you for letting us know. That's horrifying.
Really? What the hell is happening to the Western world?
Yeah. Thanks for letting us know.
Lots.
That's Luke. Cool. We'll touch base with some friends in Bondi. Thank you for letting us know. We won't dwell on that one for too long. What's this? Mr. Dunham, welcome, and thanks. Nice to have you here. It's silly to think you have to be popular to be successful with women, especially INTJT personality types. I think that's introverted. James, do you have more insight into this? The introverted.
I think it's Myers-Briggs, but I'm not an expert on that.
I think it's Myers-Briggs. Not necessarily. You don't have to be popular to be successful with women. It depends what you mean by popular, though. When we talk about guys being on stage, etc., you don't have to be like a huge, part of a successful band or something. But you could just be delivering some sort of speech on stage, or whatever, or you could even be like a scuba diving instructor or something. It's just like being in that role of being a teacher, or being a leader, which is attractive to women, generally speaking. Maybe we got a bit confused about some of what we were talking about there. Like we said, just performing at an open mic night, that doesn't mean you're like a popular musician. It just means you're taking that leadership role, you're on stage, and you're able to own that space. You've got a little friend there behind you, James. It's distracting me a little bit.
You shouldn't be here.
Oh, I love dogs. I'm a dog lover.
I rent a dog.
You don't have to be hugely popular. But in saying that, like social proofing is huge for impressing women. If you go on a date with a woman, especially like early dating, you go to a venue, you meet at a coffee shop or something. That's all right, James. So let's just say you go to a coffee shop or something, or you go to a bar where you're a regular and you know all the people who work there, or you know the other regulars. And when you go into that venue, everyone greets you. They're like, hey, Mr. Dunham, or hey, James. Oh, hey, James. It's good to see you. How you been, man? Everyone likes you. Everyone knows you and likes you. Women will be impressed by that. So social proofing is huge, just because it just helps to create trust, I suppose. It increases your status in that particular context. But also, for women, she's like, okay, wow, people like this guy. They trust him. I can also like him and trust him. It just shows that you have social skills and social status, high social status in particular areas. So social proofing is huge.
I don't know if I'd call myself popular, but I'd certainly call myself confident. And when I'm not thinking about work or in a place, I can be really outgoing. So the third greatest woman of my life, who's an angel, but unfortunately I was still seeing the greatest woman of my life when I was with her. They're in different cities. Yeah, she actually didn't like the fact that I go to a restaurant and I sort of make friends with everyone and I'm always talking to people and that sort of thing. She wanted someone a lot more subdued. And I think the idea that confidence is this sort of crazy, outgoing, energetic thing. I think there's a very, very different genre of confidence where it can be quiet confidence. The thing is, you're very, very sure of who you are. You're not insecure. To be successful with women, you want to be the least insecure you possibly can be. Because we've had some tall, rich, handsome, very, very rich, famous guys on our boot camps. And so many of the model female coaches are revolted by them. Jackie, who can't stand insecure men, like hates them. And if they're hot and sexually attractive to her and they're insecure, she has this gut level revulsion to them. And she's a very, very good female coach, but she's had some serious complaints from hot guys who weren't secure in themselves. So yeah, there's different genres of confidence as well. Who's like quiet, understated confidence? I'm trying to think of a role model, a celebrity or someone like that. If we come up with one, we'll let you know. Just being you be the quiet guy who's just very, very sure of who you are. I can think of people from my life. I could probably think of characters from movies if I really tried. Someone who's just got their head down, working on their mission, who doesn't really look up much, but if he does look up, he's really, really sure of himself. There's a character from an Ayn Rand novel who probably that. Next question. So no, you don't need to be wildly popular to be successful with women. You just need to be confident, and as we keep saying, touch, eye contact, body language, conversation skills, present yourself really well. If you can start to do all that stuff, then this stuff is really, really easy. The women thing, when you get self-confidence, you get some skills, the women thing just comes quite easily. It's too easily, it's almost a joke.
Rambala says, my friend is 5'4". He drunk approaches a lot, but doesn't do very well. How can a short guy compensate?
Stop drinking. You're losing so much of the little bit of social intelligence as men have. It might give you confidence to do it, but unless you're an idiot like me, you could drink 30 Crown Lagers and not really be affected by 12 or 15 of them. I can't do it anymore. Yeah, drinking's bad. The other thing with drunk is so many times guys are drinking and they get rejected because they got bad breath. If a girl's drinking vodka or water or even white wine and you're drinking beer, it's a really horrible smell. I'm often talking to my clients on boot camps. I'm like, your breath stinks. But it's not they've got bad breath, it's just they're drinking beer. And women, I don't even know, 10 times more sensitive to bad breath than men. You remember, women are biologically equipped to deliver and care for children. So their sense of smell and taste is just way beyond ours, just way beyond ours. So yeah, the fact that you're drinking beer can be a big rejection. If you're going up to a girl with a beer in your hand, you're already going, hey, how you going, darling? Yeah, you're really beautiful. You a model? She's already expecting some sort of freaking idiot. So yeah, try not to drunk approach, or at least cut the amount down. In terms of a short guy, you don't need to be that good looking. You certainly don't need to be that rich. Short is a disadvantage. There's no doubt about that. Anyone who tells you differently is a liar. But if you have in a lot of skill, you can beat much taller guys. I mean, the number of guys I've coached, 5'1", who've got girlfriends have been really happy with. 5 foot, turned him into a bit of a stud. I'm not saying he was running through supermodels, but he was getting girls that most guys would be happy to sleep with. He was very confident. But I mean, when you get to 5'3", 5'4", 5'5", 5'6", hundreds of guys like that. And you got to dress well. You got to be able to read signals, and you just got to take more advantage of the opportunities you've got. The truth is, if you're short and you want to sleep around a bit, get some experience with women, and eventually meet a really good woman for you, you've just got to try harder than if you're tall. You just got to try a bit harder, and you got to understand it's going to be harder for you as a short guy, and you're going to get more hard no's, but they can be overcome. The greatest womanizer, pickup artist, philanderer I've ever seen in English-speaking country with white skin was 5'7". He was about my build. He was 48 kilos, and he had a nose, a Roman nose that actually got through the door before him. A long way, like hours before him. He had a honker like you can't believe. But he had a smile like Tess. He had this huge mouth of these beautiful white teeth. And he would do stuff that he'd go to jail for in the Me Too era. And he'd just flash this smile at the girls. This guy just ran through girls like you can't even believe. 5'7", 48 kilo, big nose. And I'm not going to say the second. Yeah, potentially the second best guy I've ever seen in English-speaking country who is white. He was 5'5" and unattractive. But these guys, their skill level was insane. I mean, insane. To be honest, I've seen a black guy who'd destroy everyone else I've met put together. But in terms of white guys, these two guys were grandmasters. I learned so much from them. So yeah, it's not impossible. You just got to be more confident. You just got to try a bit harder. So yeah, I've got a tremendous empathy for short guys. It's sort of like fat girls, not girls who just eat crap, girls who are just naturally really, really big boned, small breasted. It's so much harder for them. And same with short guys. I mean, if a girl's slim, but she gets fat because of her dietary choices, you know, I've got a fair bit of empathy. But if she's naturally born that way, having said that, because of the food that a lot of people eat, particularly slightly poorer people, I mean, they're designed to be addictive, all this processed food. Next question, Tess. Did you want to add anything, Tess? Tess, we've lost your volume.
Sorry, guys, I muted myself because I've been getting all these like massive Christmas beetles flying in because they're obviously attracted to the lights, but they're really noisy as well. So I've had 2 fly in just in the last couple of minutes. That's why I muted myself. Apologies for that. But yeah, so yeah, I agree with what James is saying there. Yeah, for shorter guys, it is a disadvantage. Like you can't really get around that. But yeah, in saying that, if you have a lot of confidence, you dress really well, and you're able to connect with a woman authentically, then you're already beating heaps of other guys who are taller and can't do those things. So yeah, yeah, it's you know, James has just said as well, like 2 of the biggest studs he knows are shorter guys. So yeah, it just means you've got to build some other skill.
Actually, before I go on, 2 of my approach coaches, one guy's 5'3", 5'4", and he's had 6 girls on the go. He hasn't got any more. He had 6 girls on the go for a long, long period of time. He somehow got 12 different permutations of women into threesomes. And he was atrocious, like atrocious before he did the training. He's Mexican. He's short. He's way more intense. You guys don't really see my intense side that much here. He's supremely intense, and he was horrendously insecure about his height. He's at 5'3", 5'4". Another guy is 5'5", who's like really a long, long way below average looking. He just ran through girls like nobody's business. The other thing for you short guys, if you short guys start chasing really tall women who are particularly over sort of 5'11", 6 foot, many of them actually want to breed out their height. Like Shaquille O'Neal dates a 5'3" girl or something. So really tall men will often date very short women. Don't know why. And very tall women will often date very short men. So you quite often see a really short guy with some tall model type, and you're like, oh, he must have a really big wallet or a really big dick. Maybe, but oftentimes she just doesn't want her daughters to go through the hell she did, being like a foot taller than everyone else, especially the boys. And then just, yeah, it's, I mean, was it Uma Thurman or someone? I can't remember, one of the iconic, Gina Davis, one of the iconic actresses from a few years ago. She literally started a company with shoes that look like high heels when you're sitting, but then when you're walking, somehow the heel flat. I don't know. It sounds like quite an engineering challenge. But yeah, a lot of 6 foot girls, I know I've dated a lot of them, don't really like the fact they're 6 foot because they're just so far above everyone else, and it really limits their fashion choices. So yeah, short guys, my heart goes out to you. I was really ugly till late in life, till like late 20s. But yeah, it's not impossible. You just got to try harder, and you just got to be more confident. So yeah, I keep coming back to this metaphor. If some 100-kilo guy got in a fight with what's his name, Caleb, the Stani, whatever, MMA guy, how's he going to go against some 110-kilo bodybuilder? He will murder him in 2 minutes, and he fights at 68 kilos. Sorry, the Americans. Yeah, how's Caleb at whatever 150 pounds or whatever it is going to go against some bodybuilder who's 250 pounds? Slaughter. He'll probably grab his ankle and tear his foot around 3 times so the guy can't walk. Then he'll smash his kneecap in tiny pieces. It's the same if you're shorter or uglier or older. You just need more skill. And I've proved that over and over and over and over and over and over again over 19 years. Doesn't matter how short or unattractive or older guy is. If you give him enough skill, he'll destroy pretty much everyone else. And step 1 is to book a Zoom date with this lovely lady. It should be in the link. Next question. Sorry, I've got a bit of a rant about the short guys. I'm like one of these short man, what you call it? Like equal opportunity for shorter guys guy, because I really feel your pain because I know what it's like to just be constantly overlooked by women. But yeah, with skill and confidence, anything's possible within reality, within limits.
So Rambal again says, black pill dudes believe that looks are the only thing that matters. Their whole shtick is looks maxing. They focus all of their attention on that. So steroids, surgery, the works. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. What are black pills dudes' views on women? Maybe you can shed some light on that.
Hypergamous toxic bitches, every single one of them. Yeah, they don't like women. Okay. Yeah, I might be exaggerating. I don't know much about it, but they're convinced women only want looks, which is just nonsensical. I mean, so many of the hottest girls I've ever dated, I've met some of their ex-boyfriends, and like the love of my life, her first ex-boyfriend was a model, like one of the top male models in that region, and he was stupidly hot. But her second boyfriend was some short, whatever, not attractive at all, sort of quietly confident guy. He was quite a pretty successful businessman, but he's very, 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 very intelligent. Apparently, he was one of the smartest guys she'd ever met. And she'd have been dating him at 21 when he was much, much older. That's one of the reasons he made her a good boyfriend for me, a good girlfriend for me. So thank you. But yeah, the whole black pill, blue pill, red pill, MGTOW, I mean, they're just... It's just a bunch of guys chatting about shit they don't understand, reinforcing each other's prejudices. It's like a bunch of homeless people sitting in the gutter going, "Oh, we'll buy some mining company that's not working anymore, and we'll do a backdoor listing and rebrand it as tech, so we won't need to pay all the stock exchange fees, and then we'll float it on the exchange and make millions." It's like, yeah, some homeless guys with alcohol and OxyContin sitting around talking about that. It's like, they have no idea what they're talking about. Now, if you're short, as I've just said, it is much harder than if you're tall. Being over 6 foot, big advantage. Being over 6'6", complete and utter cheating. Being over 6'4", complete and utter cheating. Being under 5'8", 5'10", much harder. But just like the example of Caleb in a fight against nearly every 225-pound, 250-pound guy on the face of the earth, he will destroy them. He will destroy them. He will annihilate them unless you've done a lot of MMA. He'll just snap the limbs off your body. So it's the same with short guys. I've mentioned 2 of my sort of mentors and 2 of my approach coaches who would destroy pretty much anyone. The worst thing you could ever do is leave my friend from years ago around your girlfriend, because they'd sleep with him, but they don't even count it as sleeping with a man because he's so small and so playful. It's like, oh, he doesn't count. Like when women tell you how many men they sleep with, they take all these guys out. Now, he was too short. He was on holiday. He turned out to be some loser. I was drunk that time. I was drunk those 15 times. No, it doesn't count. How many women? Oh, I've slept with 4, like 400 or 40. So yeah, all the girls slept with Dave, and they didn't consider they were cheating on their boyfriend because he's too short and too pathetic. He's like a boy. It's like I slept with a boy. He's not a man. So yeah, the amount of girls this guy got. He's like comparing women with the biggest philanderer in my city. It's like this gangster, super hot ex-champion boxer who's on the front page of the news every so often, who's running through models, and all the girls are like bad boys. But my buddy's swapping girlfriends with him. I'm just like, how do you do this? Just skill, playfulness, killer smile like Chess, and he just his sort of half serious girlfriend who had to have threesomes with him to keep him. He's just a complete disgrace. But yeah, short, not attractive, just a killer smile and a shitload of skill. Sorry, that's a bit of a rant, but yeah. Skill matters so much. Skill and confidence destroys any sort of looks advantage. And even if you're the elephant man, will get you some banging hot hunchback. So anyway, sorry about that. But yeah, it's easier if you're tall and okay looking. But
yeah, the thing is as well, yeah, like, you know, steroids, surgery, etc. Oftentimes women can tell. We're pretty cluey with you know, modification, like surgery, and because a lot of women do it themselves, so we know what it looks like. And so when a guy, like, like if you're doing this kind of stuff, all it's just projecting to a woman is insecurity. Like, I'm insecure about the way I look, or whatever. And again, that's not attractive to women. Confidence beats everything. So yeah.
I will add one thing to that. I've coached a bunch of plastic and cosmetic surgeons. If you've got ears that stick out like that, or a nose that gets into the room a long, long way ahead of you, or what else could there be? Like, some people have said I should get rid of this gigantic thing here. I'm not going to bother. I can't be bothered. I'm scared of whatever I need to do it. If you've got like something where you could go to a skilled surgeon and they could do one procedure or whatever, or a couple of procedures, and they could fix something that's genetic, I'd say go for it. And I think they're heroes for making the world better looking. But if you're trying to take something and you're trying to perfect it and make everything perfect, I think you're kidding yourself. And just like so many women in today's world, after the procedure, when your face changes a bit, you're just going to look like a freak show, and women are going to be revolted by you. And I've seen so many women who I knew at a certain age who might have got a bit of work done and actually worked for them, who went one procedure too much, or the wrong guy, or, you know, their face aged and it just turned into a freak show. And it's like you're looking at this weird thing. It's like the least sexually attractive thing ever. So yeah, if you're not that good looking, I wouldn't stress too much. If you're not that tall, that's a real cause for some concern, but you can overcome it. If you're not rich enough, I don't think it matters. Just be a little bit above average is optimal. I've really crapped on about this. Let's move on.
So another question from Luke. Nice to see you here again, Luke. James, touching on your point that very good-looking guys / top shelf, do women tend to just avoid these guys for relationships and only consider them for short-term fun?
That's an excellent question as usual, Luke. The issue with if you're good-looking and you've got money, you'll find it very, very, with a bit of skill, you need some skill, you'll find it exceptionally easy to just run through a bunch of what you call 7s, maybe 8s, certainly 5s. But what you'll find is if you are ticking a lot of these boxes, and we had an extreme example on the last boot camp, women are scared shitless of you and they're really fucking cruel to you. The guy in the last boot camp, he had I approached the hottest girl in the bar at the start, and I sort of grabbed her and whatever, touched her, and we had a bit of a conversation. Then she came up and approached me, and she was drunk. Then she walked up to me and she saw my client, and she goes, well, I was going to grab on and kiss this guy in front of my friends, but no, he's a lot more confident. He's about 100 times hotter. This is like a really hot older guy. And then so she just grabbed him and just made out with him in front of her friends. He never got to sleep with her. And he just was basically her prop for the rest of the night to show, oh, I got the hottest guy in the bar and I've kissed him. So yeah, you get a lot of easy sex. You get a lot of girls just want to come back and see your place or fuck you. But you'll find if you are really hot, really masculine, really tall, really successful, you'll find it dramatically harder to meet someone special. And if you do, you're going to need a dramatically higher understanding of female psychology and women's tests. I haven't coached you, Luke, but that's often the thing that most of these guys are lacking. Tess did a Nobel Prize winning job of getting this guy from the last boot camp, super skilled. She did this on Zoom, super skilled at handling the games and the abuse and the no, go away, I don't talk to you, or what are you talking to me for? I've got a boyfriend, or you're too old for me. All the shit that women throw at you, and they're really attracted to you, and they're just poking you to see if you're a man. Tess did a Nobel Prize winning job on the last boot camp of training this really hot guy. He's not rich, but he makes really good money. And he's got lots of amazing interests. He's really super interesting guy, like PhDs and AI and stuff, even though he's an older guy, like really high value, most women's dream girl, but he's had hell with women. He's probably had a few easy bangs, but he's had hell with women. And Tess did this extraordinary job of making him super confident when a girl cuts him to pieces. And one of my most experienced female coaches, who's never, ever, ever, ever in the history of social coach that I've seen acted inappropriately with any client, was a disgrace. And the reason is because this guy was a special puppy, special category. I devoted one of his sessions I should have pushed him hard to do private training, but anyway, I didn't. I gave him sort of a period of private training that I got other guys to watch. I didn't know that Tess had done such an amazing job of this. And he's going up to female coach. She didn't even look at him to begin with, because I mean, she's had guys as hot as that, and she's dated billionaires, and she's got a little bit of a bias towards guys with money. Big bias towards guys with money. The other female coaches gossip about it. But anyway, she goes up to this guy. It's just, he's got a good job. He earns much better money than average, but he's not like rich. He doesn't present himself as rich. And he does this incredible job out of nowhere of handling a woman who's being exceptionally mean to you and telling you to go away and telling you you're too old and telling you you got no social skills, you can't read, just absolutely hammering him. I've got it on film, but I probably can't use it. And then the guy did a fantastic job. And this woman is basically getting wet, throwing herself at him for the rest of the boot camp. It was absolutely pathetic what she did. And I'm like, he's hot, but he's 20 years older than her. He's not rich. He's not her type at all. How can she be so attracted to him? And then I asked him later, man, how did you do such a good job of that? That's the sort of job I would do when a woman's throwing crap at me. He goes, oh, Tess did a few Zoom sessions. I'm like, oh, so it wasn't him, it was Tess. So yeah, because he was trained as a super hot guy, just getting the crap beaten out of him when he first meets a super hot girl who's also got a brain, Val just a certain female coach of mine who's a very good coach, who's most of them acted appallingly in front of certain clients. She was just, yeah, I took video and I started calling, and because she's one of the senior coaches, and some guys would say the hottest, if they like blondes, because she's being a disgrace around him. All the other girls, and I got a little bit of video where I'm like, oh, there's the seagulls. I literally set someone down in the lift to video the seagulls just fighting for this guy. And it's only because Tess made him so confident at all the women's tests and games that she just threw herself at him. Never, ever before in my life. And she dated a bunch of male models. And she said she dated a champion kickboxer who was the hottest guy she'd ever seen. So I've done a real rant about less attractive short guys. I've done a real rant about the top 0.05% of men in terms of looks, testosterone, height, and financial situation. So yeah, I'm being balanced here.
I think, yeah, I think one of the things, just adding to this as well, is that I don't know, if you're obviously asking this question, Luke, it seems like you might be one of these kind of guys, good looking or top shelf kind of guy. You've kind of alluded to your success, etc., and that you don't really have trouble with getting women, like they approach you, that sort of thing. But I don't know what your long-term relationship experience is like, but oftentimes when guys are really super attractive superficially appealing to women, what happens is, because they constantly get approached by women, you actually don't have the skill to kind of weed out the ones which aren't good quality and actually be proactive in pursuing the kind of women you actually want and desire. But also, when it comes to being in a relationship long term, oftentimes women have these expectations of you, but because you've never had to learn skills or work to be in a relationship, you actually don't really know how to handle relationships. You don't understand female psychology, and you often find that you get women who become toxic because they have these expectations of you that aren't being met, right? And they start acting out, etc. So that's definitely a pattern that I've recognized. So I'm not sure if that's true for you or not, but if you're finding that women are, you get a lot of women who you can have short-term fun with, but then relationships don't develop out of it, there might be an element of that for you.
Yeah, we obviously haven't coached Luke, so we're just talking in generalizations. But I've coached so many hot guys. I literally coached probably top 4 of the world's top male models, and this guy was booking jobs at like 40, 50,000 US dollars in the early 2000s. So that's a lot of money. And he basically retired from modeling, and he retired very early till he got into trading futures and options, which I told him he's a fucking idiot if he even goes down. But yeah, he made so much money modeling. And this guy had the most toxic women you'd ever seen. He was the most clueless about women I've ever seen. He had the worst approach anxiety I've ever seen. This was a super interesting guy who wasn't vain model at all. I mean, he had no interest in his appearance other than the fact he could make a lot of money out of it. And he only ever dated really unattractive girls. After I coached him, the first few girls he slept with, it's just like, dude, she's 7.5. What are you doing that for? He was terrified of 9s and 10s because when he previously dated 9s and 10s, they caused him so much pain. So same with hot girls. A lot of them think, oh, I date all these high status guys who are confident. I'm good with men. No, you're terrible. You've got no idea whatsoever. But generally when things come easily to people, they don't develop that much skill. It's like the guy who goes through puberty early, who goes big, who can bully most of the people. He comes in front of someone who can actually fight. It's like, you're dead. So yeah, we don't know. Just touching on your point that very good-looking top shelf guys, do women tend to just avoid these guys for relationships or consider them for short-term fun? I may have said this before, but you asked the question. Another guy who was a male model who I made friends with. I was traveling around Sweden, and I, for my own selfish purposes, had made friends with 2 attractive Australian girls, like, 8.5, 9, maybe a bit more to the average guy, maybe 9.25. But I had no interest in screwing them, so I'd screwed enough Australian girls. I was just using them as clickbait. So I basically used them as barter against this super hot Swedish guy and made friends with him. We became quite close friends. So I hooked him up with one of the girls who was a doctor, and he really liked her because this guy was, I can't remember, he was an engineer. He was a really smart guy, apart from being just like way better looking than Brad Pitt. This guy was way better looking than Brad Pitt. If anyone's interested, Brad Pitt's got very not attractive eyes, so he wouldn't be a high level model, despite the fact everything else looks pretty good. This was told to me on the best male models in the world. So anyway, Lucy was the girl, the med student or the first year doctor. I hook her up with Marcus, and yeah, she bangs him 2 or 3 times, and then they're not together. And I go, oh, what happened with you and Lucy, man? I thought I sorted you guys out really well. He's like, oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, I said, you really liked her, didn't you? He goes, yeah, she was great. So what happened with you guys? He goes, oh, I don't know. So I go, Lucy, I introduced you to this model who's an awesome guy. What the hell are you doing? She's like, oh, yeah, thanks for setting us up. What was he like? She says, oh, he was great. I didn't ask about sex. I probably should have. I said, but what happened with you guys? And she's like, oh, no, it was good. And I pushed harder, as I sometimes do. I go, so why aren't you still seeing him? We're all in the same sort of social group. She goes, he's too hot for me. I'm like, what? Goes, no, I'm not dating him. He's too hot for me. I just want to hook up with him. So this guy gets a really good, well-traveled doctor, read books, ticks most of the boxes. She's not a supermodel, but she's hotter than she's a 9. She's way hotter than most girls. This guy really falls for her, and she just dumps him. So so what happens with the really hot guys? They totally freak really hot girls out, because it's like suddenly he gets as much or more attention than me, because there's very few really hot guys, and the ones that are, women have makeup and surgery and push-up bras. There's a $1 trillion industry, probably $1 trillion industry in making women attractive. Whereas with men, it's much smaller. So yeah, it is really, really hard for super hot guys. And the number of like ridiculously attractive men I get on my courses, and yet the constant recurring theme, I'm not talking about you because I haven't coached you, I haven't seen you, I don't know, is they're just totally clueless. And I've found that in my friends as well. And they have the worst stalkers. And women throw themselves at them and run away, and they go on lots of first dates and nothing happens. Anyway, I could go on and on. I'm a bit passionate about the extremes. I've been doing this so long. So helping the really, really unattractive guys and helping the super high value guys who have similar levels of problems. The average guys won't believe how hard it is for most the desirable men. But yeah, he slept with 200 women. Like, so what? He's never had a connection in his life. And the few times he did, he blew it, often without realizing. I'm putting you in the basket of similar people based on the metrics you've shared with me. You've got to become a master at women's tests, and you've probably got to really deepen your knowledge of female psychology. That's the usual thing. Conversation, approaching, everything else is obviously important. You need that as the core skills. But the thing that will separate you and the thing that will separate Rob from the last boot camp and my best friend for a while, Philip, the male model, is understanding female psychology at a high level. Which is really how they test to manipulate you.
I agree with that, definitely.
Just to round everything up, because I've gone on a bit of a rant here. It's a good rant, I think. The reason this guy had this girl who's used to dating guys worth a lot of money, this sort of, engineer, had a female coach of mine just be a disgrace around him. Never done it before in 13 years. 100 boot camps maybe, or 80, I don't know, is because Tess did such a good job of teaching him how to handle women who are just throwing darts at a hot guy. Knowing how to handle Tess is going to help every guy, and it's the number one factor in a relationship. It's the number one factor in getting threesomes, it's the number one factor in getting models. It's by far and away number one factor in a long-term relationship. But for the hottest guys, that's where you need to start. Just like with a virgin, you need to start with sex, because until he gets that sorted, he's just going to self-sabotage everything. Until you get women's tests sorted, the super high caliber guys are just going to self-sabotage everything or ruin everything, so they don't actually know what's going on. Anyway, that was a bit of a rant. It was an excellent question. Thank you. Next question.
So someone said, sorry, 1 second. Oh, someone's asked for your stalker story.
Okay, we might wrap up any questions. I want everyone to feel heard, and then I'll leave you with a stalker story. It's not that long, actually, but I'll tell you.
So actually it says, hey James, you talked about avoiding chemicals before. I'd love to know how you manage to do that, especially with personal hygiene. Thanks.
Garbage in, garbage out. If you put garbage in, you'll stink. If you don't put any garbage in and you do a bit of detoxes and eat lots of vegetables and exercise a bit, you will not stink. The only time I ever smell, and plenty of women can attest to this, is if I'm really stressed about something. So, yeah, just garbage in, garbage out. Yeah, I've been told, I'm not a big fan of blowjobs, but I've been told I got the best tasting dick ever. I don't know if I used the word exact ever. So you got the best tasting dick. This is the best tasting dick I've ever smelled. Yeah, I shouldn't say this publicly, but I mean, I can wear this, particularly if it's bamboo, I could wear the same T-shirt even in 30 degrees for, I don't know, a week, maybe weeks. I don't do that. I could. It's just simply because there's very little garbage left in my body. So you just got to start avoiding stuff. So vegetables. You want to do better with women? Eat your vegetables. On one of my programs, I do like nearly a day-long health program. Similar to dating advice, the vast majority of health advice I've seen on YouTube and on the internet and through AI is usually very misguided, and they don't understand the important stuff. And there's all these Stanford doctors who are now these international health gurus who've got no freaking idea what they're talking about. Like, no freaking idea. And they just jump on trends. Like, there was the pickup artist trend, and there's the red pill trend, and all these smart marketers just jump on, or someone looking for a career, someone who's sick of medicine, who wants a career change, they become a natural health expert, even they've got no clue what they're doing. A Stanford medical degree, you do not do 1 minute of work on nutrition. I think you do like 90 minutes of work on sleep. It's like, what the hell did you do for 6 years at the top 3 medical schools in the world? I mean, this is wanking. I better not say this too publicly. But yeah, a whole bunch of people are coming out saying this. So yeah, avoiding chemicals, lots of vegetables. If you want to get really hardcore, you start doing detoxes. If you can manage financially organics, exercise regularly, yoga. Stop going to gym, pumping weights, swallowing protein powder that's full of more chemicals than a Mars bar, or Oreo cookies, and just do yoga, eat vegetables, sleep with women a lot younger than you. Grass-fed's a huge head start. But it's got to be grass-fed, grass-finished, and a few other things. If you want to be serious, get regenerative, which is a whole new level to everything else, probably a whole new level financially too. So that's a rough idea of health. Yeah, I mean, don't eat anything where you can't identify what it is. I mean, I love sweet things like many people. The only sweet stuff I really eat is dates, and I have almonds or cashews or something with them. Like, everything in my diet is a piece of broccoli, or it's a piece of sweet potato, or it's a date, or it's an apple. There's no muesli. I mean, very rarely would I eat muesli bars or anything like that. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. It's not just that, but that's a huge head start. You just got to avoid chemicals. Try to live in a chemical-free house, which I've done for a long time. Anyway, this is primary. Basically, my system is I teach you guys the touch, eye contact, body language, body positioning, elite level conversation skills, reading signals, style, date plan. I teach you all the basics. Firstly, conversation, and then we go from there. Then once I've taught that, I get into much more advanced stuff like female psychology and women's tests, which is huge, sexual stuff, and also health. Because if I train some 45-year-old to be a killer with women and he eats a standard American diet, probably not going to last for long. His heart might not long if he starts having sex for hours and hours. Anyway, next question. I'm crapping on a bit.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, again, just with personal hygiene stuff, guys, think about the kind of deodorant you use. Yeah, you just want to stick to natural products. Yeah, if you obviously, like, BO is not great. Like, women don't like BO, but yeah, you don't want to be putting toxins directly into your lymphatic system. So, avoid anything with like aluminium, parabens, fragrances, that sort of thing. You can make your own natural deodorants as well. Like all you need is like a bit of coconut oil and some essential oils and a bit of bicarb soda, like works pretty well. So what else?
I'd like to touch on something. I haven't used deodorant since New York blacked out in 2004. For any Americans, New York blacked out in July. And a few days after that, I went to live with a girl in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, and it was hot and it was humid. And we had sex for like 3, 4, 5 hours during the day when it's whatever is 32 degrees and crazy humid. And she didn't live near trees or anything. So it was hot. That was the last time I ever used antiperspirant. And it was just a roll-on, quite natural one. I've never used it ever again since. I don't own it. I don't aftershave. So that's how good my health stuff is. I never, ever, ever use any of that stuff. And I get really upset if people do. I hate it. I mean, if a girl came on a date with perfume for me, no, thank you. I'd need to really like it. It's just I can't stand that stuff.
Mm.
So yeah, if anyone's interested in, if I did a session on health, would anyone come, or would anyone be interested in that? If anyone puts health in the chat, I'll consider that. It's not my special subject, but yeah, why would you make some 40 or 50-year-old guy much better with women if he's just going to eat the average Australian diet, American diet, and just be completely gross? I think we better wrap up. Can you just do the questions that everyone's
yeah, more just comments, a couple of comments. Mr. Dunham says, we don't all want to run through girls. Many of us want a genuine lifetime relationship. Yes, great. That's great. That's really great. Obviously, yeah. So James, he uses some examples of guys who do run through girls, but like a lot of the vast majority of the clients we work with, that's not what they're trying to do. He just uses, he talks about these examples to give you an idea of what is achievable if that's what you're after. But yeah, again, the skills we're teaching you, it's not about running through women. It's about creating authentic connection with women and being genuinely attractive to women. If you're after a genuine lifetime relationship, awesome. That's exactly what we want to give you.
Okay, my business and marketing friends will say I'm an idiot being honest about this. I mean, I don't know how many thousand guys I've coached now through a boot camp. The woman you're supposed to have kids with is not going to land on your dick after you do the boot camp, no matter how amazing Tess and I and Val and Natalia and Kota and Monique are. It's not going to happen. In fact, you'll probably go out and get way hotter girls than you ever have before. You might get the odd bad one. And the other thing is, if you're quite promiscuous, you're sleeping with girls who tend to be single, and you're getting a much worse sample size than, because there's a lot of great girls in relationships. They tend to be taken. So it's just, you don't go do a boxing class and then beat the crap out of anyone. You need to take the instruction we give you, but you need to date around a little bit. You need to sleep around a little bit, and that way you can meet a great girl. Also, you need a bit of relationship experience. This relationship experience that comes from a guy who was first thing we need to do, we need to turn you into a man, a hunter. Luke's earlier question, one of the most extreme, worth a bunch of money. Mum was a model. He could be a model. Crazy masculine cage fighter. His line was, and he'd already slept with hundreds of girls. He used to be at work as a bouncer when he was at university. He goes, James taught me how to hunt. James taught me how to hunt my own meat. James taught me how to hunt my own meat. So rather than just survive on the many girls who threw themselves at him from across the room, he was wealthy, well over 10, but his close friends were like one of them was worth 100, way more than 100, and the other's worth 20, 30. So it's a very wealthy group of guys. He was the best looking and by far the most masculine. So yeah, women had just thrown themselves at him his whole life. But this guy had been through the sort of pain you can't even fathom. And yeah, I mean, one girl came around when he was doing a Muay Thai camp in Thailand, took his beloved dog, like half Staffy, half Pitbull, and took it to the vet and got put down. So he's getting all these Fatal Attraction bunny boiler women. And he had no clue how to pick up women. He was terrible. Even though the 23-year-old swimsuit model of 24 at the time, who was working on his private training, she threw herself at him. She smelt the testosterone. This girl was ready to suck his dick. The first private training he ever did, she's like in this ridiculous, like proper big time. I shouldn't say too much. She's in this ridiculously tight plunging neckline, just every curve there in white. And she's like 10, 15 minutes in, she's looking down like this, staring at the guy's cock. And then, what was he? He was 48 at the time. She was 23, roughly. He might have been older. So yeah, the point I'm making is, you have to run through a few girls, and you might not want to do that when you're 50 to actually really make these skills work, to figure out what you want. You're going to kiss a few frogs. I mean, the number of girls I've met where it's like, oh my God, this girl's amazing. She's a model. She studied philosophy. She's traveled. She's read literature. She's super feminine. This could be one of the great women of my life. And then 2 weeks later, I'm like, help! This girl's fucking nuts. I've had a girl like that basically. Anyway, with it. Another stalker story. Basically, I slept with her, and because I was so into her, I pulled out too many of my sex tricks the first time, and yeah, she came around again after standing me up, and then I tried to sleep with her the second time. She wouldn't do it because she was too insecure. She was like one of the hottest things I've ever seen when she walked through that door. It's like, oh my God, I'll never forget that. I wanted to bone this girl so hard. Then she just plays all these games with me. And eventually I said, no, well, listen, I'm going to get up. I was doing an acting course at that time. I'm going to get up, do an acting course. And so I basically tried to kick her out. Then she goes to the bathroom, and she's like fucking around with the knives in the kitchen. I'm just like, what the hell? Like big knives, because I was renting the place from someone else. So yeah, I shouldn't tell you this. I should say, yeah, do the boot camp. You'll meet your wife the next day and everything else will be fine. No, you're probably going to date 10 or 20 or 30 girls. You're probably going to sleep with at least 5 or 6. I will give you skills to do that easily. And then from there, you might start to meet long-term relationship women. I tend to coach intelligent guys. It's just basic probability. Are you just going to meet one girl and she's the mother of your children? That's a recipe for unending, unfathomable pain, particularly if you've got a bit of money. So yeah, I don't want to run through girls. I haven't wanted to run through girls since I was like 42, 43. But the basic reality of the situation is, I met the greatest woman of my life, the second greatest woman of my life, the third greatest woman of my life, the fourth greatest woman of my life, the fifth greatest woman of my life, the sixth greatest woman of my life, and probably the 20 greatest woman of my life when I was quite promiscuous. I met the love of my life when I'd been running through girls in South America. I met the second best girl of my life. We've been running through girls in Sweden and Germany. I could go on and on and on. I met not someone I was going to marry, but I met someone who changed my life, and really, since she helped me create Social Coach because of how much she taught me about the psychology of beautiful women. I met her when I'd been running through women and models in New York. So yeah, the idea that, you know, even Tess and I, no matter how good we might think we are, or some of the guys on the chat have said, the idea that you can do this course, you're going to meet the mother of your children the next day. Yeah, it's not the mother of your children. So yeah, you're going to have to go on a few dates. You're going to have to kiss a few frogs. You have to probably sleep with a girl because there's some women who are really good, but there's just sex issues. Tess and I were talking about this recently. She wants 5 times a week and you want 1 time a week or something. So there's a whole bunch of things around finding a good long-term partner. But when you do find a good long-term partner, oh my God, your life just goes on this turbocharger, like way better than winning lotto. The best thing that could ever happen to a man is to find this woman that, I'm not saying you're meant to be with, but to find the perfect woman for you. So much of I'm ranting tonight, aren't I? So much of the growth in my life and the person I am today, and so much of what I'm truly grateful for talk to God or the universe, is the fact that when I was 31, this girl came in my life. When I was 33, this girl came in my life. When I was 37, this girl came in my life. I mean, to be honest, it's just, the number one determinant. There's a whole bunch of billionaires who say the most important thing in your financial success is who your life partner is. And the number one way to undo your financial success is have the wrong life partner. So, anyway, that's a bit of a rant, but I'm not saying run through girls, but prepare yourself. If you want someone you're going to spend a year with, let alone 5 or 10, let alone have a family with, you probably want to go on a date with at least 10 or preferably 20 women. We have ways you can shortcut that. And you probably want to sleep with a few. And you got to understand, particularly with all the chemicals dumped on us and the psychological situation we have for women and men today, you're probably going to get a few bunny boilers who you thought were really good for a time, or girls who are just serious depression. Because if you look at what percentage of, say, Sydney or Melbourne or New York or LA's population of women, particularly attractive women, who are on anti-depression, anti-anxiety. I mean, it's a huge percentage of the population. Anyway, good rant. Let's wrap this one up. I've gone on too long.
No, that's okay. I agree with that completely, James. But more so that just you need to have like some experience with women to actually know what you want. Have an understanding of how women are in relationships, sexually as well. All of that stuff's really important. So I don't know what your background is, what your relationship history is, but what James is saying is valid. So
just quickly, one of the men I respected most in the first 25 years of my life that I met, he said to me, never make the job you really want your first interview. You just got to practice interviewing. You got to practice women. Part of that's sex, which probably isn't the most abhorrent thing in the world for most men. But you also got to practice relationships. And you're probably going to have a bad relationship or 2 or 3, particularly if you've got some money, before you have a good one or a good looking. Sorry, let's move on. It's getting far too late.
No, absolutely. That's correct. We actually mainly just like comments here. A lot of guys, we've had like 4 or 5 guys say they're interested in the health stuff, James. So that's something to keep in mind. And it's basically just a lot of comments, no real questions there. Thank you guys. It's been a real pleasure tonight. If there anything we didn't cover, please let us know quickly now as we're wrapping up.
Did many people ask the Stalker story?
We had one person asking for the Stalker story, so not as much as the health. We've had a lot of people wanting the health stuff. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we could touch on that.
I might just share the short story if we had one. Because it's a good education for guys in terms of how scary it is, both in terms of the fact that hot girls have had a lot of them. Rewatch Fatal Attraction. It's an okay movie. Fatal Attraction with Michael Douglas and Glenn Close. If you're quite a desirable guy and you don't date and sleep with other women, that's probably your predictable future. Because I've had so many tall, rich, handsome, very confident, masculine men on my boot camps. We get like at least one on every boot camp, sometimes more than one. Like so many of the guys on my boot camp this time, I joked the private training guys were like my basketball team. So I was the shortest guy, second shortest guy doing private training. I was leading it. But it's like, it's like 6'6" and 6'5", and anyway. So we coach a lot of desirable guys, and most of them have been through hell. So what happened was I was screwing my way around Southeast Asia and then India, and I got a 6-foot German girl with huge tits, and she was doing her master's in sociology. She was a really intelligent woman. She was fairly feminine, and she could have probably been a low-level model. I don't think she was a model. Was she 26? And anyway, we hooked up. I sort of pushed it hard. I wanted to close because she had a bunch of friends with her, and I managed to catch her alone. So I pushed pretty hard and managed to fuck her during the day. It was like 12 o'clock and I closed, which is very, very hard to do. So anyway, I think we slept with each other one more time, and then went to dinner. She was a great girl. I loved hanging out with her. She was amazing company. But then I could see how much she liked me. Again, I was really promiscuous at this point, because women sense when you've got other women around you, particularly they're pussy juices, and they want you much more. So she could probably sense I was fairly promiscuous leading up to meeting her. And yeah, she just went nuts. She just went completely nuts. And she basically followed me around for 2 or 3 days, like 6 hours a day. That's an exaggeration. 2 or 3 hours a day, she'd be walking behind me. We're at this beach in Goa, India, which is some of the best moments of my life up till, apart from this bit. And I basically dumped her, saying, yeah, I'm off traveling down south soon. It was so good to meet you, blah, 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 blah. But then I met a Polish model who I liked, and she may have seen us together, even though I'd already sort of parted ways. I didn't sleep with a Polish model till much after I left. And she just went fucking nuts on me. It's like I'm walking around all day in this small little community, and everywhere I look, like I watched Fatal Attraction last night, which sent my heart rate at least 10 beats per minute higher than it should be, because I've had similar experiences. And yeah, his fear was the phone rings. It's like I was walking around in the shops, or I was walking different cafes, or I was walking along the beach, and like it's like every half hour I'd see those big blue eyes staring at me, and she's following me around, and oh my God, it was terrifying. I could go into a bit more detail, but the absolute worst. I was out with a guy I met that night who played cricket for India, who was an awesome guy. If we lived in the same city, we'd be very close friends. And we were having the time of our life. We're talking to other girls, and she was basically just sitting at a table watching us the whole night. It was really freaky. And her friend hated me. Her friend wanted me, and she wanted me. And her friend was hot, but I could tell from the start her friend was a bit toxic. So I went with this one. We had more in common as well. Her friend was a little bit hotter. So her friend was immediately saying, "You're just terrible." So I don't know. The punchline is I leave the bar. I don't even know what time it was, 1 a.m. or something. And I'd had a bit to drink too, because probably got through a carton that night. And I wasn't in the mood to have sex with anyone. And yeah, I go back to my place, which is on the water, and it's just Goa, India. So to lock the door when I leave, I just put a padlock on the front. So what I do is I open the door, and I know she's been stalking me for 3 days, basically. So I walk through, and I open the door, and then what do I do? Oh yes, so I go in the door, and then I go back out the door, and I do what I've got to do, and I lock the door behind me, and then I literally 8 out of 10 men could not have done what I did. I literally climbed up a really high balcony, which is probably 20 feet on Indian beams. It was a level of risk involved in this, especially very late at night when I was drinking too much. I just went to bed thinking she's going to see the padlock on the door. She's not going to bother me. I was wrong. James, I know you're in there. And this went on for like 90 minutes, and people going, shut up, bitch. But she just kept hammering. And eventually she went away, and I'm like, I don't know, this girl's just going to come back. Because she had some German male friends with her, who were guys who were trying to bang her. And yeah, I was just sitting there, I was so scared. I was so terrified. She just kept going and going and going. If you watch the Glenn Close, Michael Douglas Fatal Attraction movie, you'll know how completely nuts women can get. We had a really good connection, I will say that, and I was super confident at that stage. But yeah, it was... my heart rate's far too high to even just telling this story. So anyway, I usually leave with something like that. So yeah, thanks so much for support, guys. I think by accident, we did new structure tonight where we got the content out the way at the start and answered any relevant questions on the content. Then we did general questions later. So looks like many guys hung around. So if you like this format, where we get the main stuff done in maybe the first hour, then flow to questions. Just give us some votes. Thank you so much for all the lovely comments from our ex-students. I think there was Simon, Glenn, David, might have been one more I've forgotten. Sorry, whoever I've forgotten. And yeah, if you want to book a date with lovely Tess, Monday or Tuesday, link in the chat. And yeah, keep smiling, and bye for now. And any requests for future topics, we're all ears.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure as always, and looking forward to seeing a couple of you tomorrow, and everyone else sometime soon. See you.
And eat your veggies. Eat your veggies. Especially the green ones.